What's up? Starting a little early, just goofing around here. Doing some theory crafting on some Chaos Dowie while we wait for the tournament to start, which should be pretty soon. I'm gonna leave y'all here. I'm gonna make sure I've got plenty of water and stuff before the tournament starts. And y'all can tell me how terrible you think this build possibly would be. Oi, I'm back. What'd I miss? Okay. Let me go check and see how many signups we ended up getting. It's quite a few people. We got some really high level players in here. So it's going to be interesting, for sure. We've got Boss, of course. We've got Ash. Outer Regions here. VA Anime. Rust is playing for the first time I've seen in a while. Berserk, same with him. Gonna be coming in trying to crush everybody on, who knows? Berserk is pretty competent with most of the factions in the game, so could be anyone. Oh, Boss is on Kislev. Oh, damn. A lot of Lizardman players. Who hasn't declared? We've got a lot of people who haven't, so I need to get in here and, like, tell everybody what's what. Because it's only 4 minutes before start. Alright, let me make this declaration here. The ultimatum, if you will. Need everybody to announce before we start. Don't really want people just making things up in the first round as they go along. Sweet. Okay. Hopefully that gets things moving along. And I'll give people a couple extra minutes to make all their declarations and such. Might hold the tournament off of starting for a few more minutes, and there's somebody who's declared who did not check in. So we got the message. Anybody else? Yeah, I think we've got one more person here who's not declared, or who has declared but hasn't checked in. It's going to be the first tournament where everybody who signed up actually checked in to play. That's crazy. Holy, we've got like 20-something people in here, too. How many? Wow, 24 people, like, actually checked in right now. Potentially 25. A little bit awkward always having an odd number, but, you know, it is what it is. Sometimes having people who get buy rounds can mix it up at the top end of the tournament as to who actually gets in the top 4. For good and ill, sometimes people who really, really deserve it and don't make it in all the time can get can end up outside of it, but sometimes the other way around works out. People who are always in the top 4 can end up falling out, and somebody new can kind of slip in under the radar and go on a run. That's how some people end up with their first tournament wins. Sometimes all it takes is actually getting in there, because upsets happen constantly in this game. Don't jinx it. What's up, guys? How's it going? Yeah, really good turnout for this tournament. Holy crap. Way more than I was expecting. Last tournament I hosted had like 10 people, I think, and you know, people are starved for those midday start times, apparently. You know. It also helps, though, if you post in advance, you know. Like, I usually try to do that. If you try to do too many tournaments last minute, if you're not, you know, touring, more often than not, you're not going to get too many people signing up if you don't, like, make it in advance, because people don't see it. They're just not really in the loop. And it kind of goes by the boards, so to speak. Alright. I think everybody's checked in. We finally got all the people set up, so we can generate the bracket here. We gave a couple extra minutes for folks. Okay, guys. So, everybody can go find their opponent and get this all kicked off. We are officially underway here. And it's going to be messy as hell. Oh my god. Who are we going to get in the first round, too? Oh, we got Attack Speed Enjoyer. An attack is on Wood Elves, so Khorne versus Wood Elves. Pretty classic showdown in the first round. Just pretty even though Khorne has lots of good tools against the Wood Elves. Wood Elves, just being such a good shooting faction, can kind of overwhelm Blood God. Can be a little difficult to persevere through it all. You gotta have a lot of patience to play this matchup, which I can struggle with sometimes. That's usually my personal downfall, is getting over-eager and trying to outpush the Wood Elf's ability to just fall back and continue peppering you. Okay, we're just gonna message attack speed here. We should make a lobby, and we'll check what map we're on, because, of course, I didn't bother to actually pay attention to what maps I set up. Oh, Dusted Steppe. Oh, for the first game? That should be okay. Wood Elves do have some good spots to stand and get spell mastery from being in the woods. So they might be dropping some hot wood action on our heads here, which could be pretty brutal if we're not careful. No, attack speed's already got one. Cool. Oh. Very responsible. Password protection and everything. Is attack speed really on Nurgle? I thought they were playing Wood Elves. Dang, okay. Should take a peek. No, they're playing Wood Elves. Okay. We'll come up with something decent here. We'll also go take a little peeky poo at the stats for the season right now. Top 4 banned for the tournament. So you're not going to see any Slaanesh, Ogre Kingdoms, Norska, or Beastmen. I know there's lots of people in this tournament who would probably be playing the Beastie Boys if they could. But I've seen plenty of them in all the other tournaments. They've been pretty dominant too. They just kind of flatten over people, especially with Centaur swarms. And it gets pretty brutal to watch. Hold on. What is attack speed going to be bringing is the question, because Wood Elves can bring a lot of mix-ups. Particularly in their missile line, which can end up punishing you really badly. The thing I'm probably most afraid of is a bunch of Way Watchers. Because they'd be pretty devastating. It would be incredibly painful to get nailed by those guys. We might be able to squeak around them, though, without too many issues. I don't know if we need too many of these. Definitely. Cut those guys. I think the armor's gonna be really nice. One of these doohickeys. It's just too much infantry. You gotta be careful about not overextending yourself with infantry early on. Against the Wood Elves, because they can really punish you if you don't have enough mobility on the field. So I just need to go through this and double check that this is what I'm most comfortable with. I think it is. Hard hitting, plenty of mobile stuff, chunky options all across the board here. And we'll do this. Spread these chevrons around a little. Since we got a little bit of extra money in the bank here. Juicy. Okay. I don't think there's anything going on. It doesn't look like anybody's messaged me, so I think attack speed and I can kick it off here in a sec. I guess yeah, you know what? Maybe I should ping the tournament. Talking mad shit. Oh my god. Attack speed, dude. That's so funny. Dude said have fun, and then he said, I get maybe in this matchup you're not, but have fun anyways. Unreal. The absolute gall on this dude. Alright, well, let's see what he's got cooked up that he seems so confident will be anti-fun for everybody involved. I'm like reasonably even against the Wood Elves. I mean, they're strong, but they're not unbeatable by any means. If they get really missile heavy, I might have some problems. We're just gonna have to see, though. Oh, Peasy, you got boss round 1. Ouch. Good luck. That's gonna be a tough one. Here we go. So before I forget to swap over, we'll go ahead and do that. Vampire Coast in the top 5. Yeah, Vampire Coast is strong. They just missed out on the cutoff for the bans for today's tournament. Oh, we got 7 Wood Elf units here. Okay. Waywatcher Vanguard? I'm so curious what this is. Trees? The hell do the Wood Elves bring? That's 7 units.
Scouts for the scout group. Chaos warriors. Takers of skulls.
Guys, I'm stressed. Look at this. Look at these numbers for the Wood Elves. 7 units. What kind of madness? What kind of shenanigans are coming out from this dude? We might end up needing to play multiple objectives. We're going to keep one Chaos Warrior a little wider just in case it needs to go to the number 1. And we'll keep an eye out on the number 2. These Corngors might jump out. They're probably going to just hide in the forest, though. I would guess that there might be some serious Deepwood Scout or Waywatcher shenanigans coming in. Waywatchers are 1150. And Hawkeyes of Jakir are 1450. If you throw, like, tons of those guys out on the field, this is usually what your army is going to look like in terms of numbers.
Slaughter personified.
Alright, Cultist is going to move forward. We got a Spell Singer. Oh, lots of Sisters of the Thorn. Okay, that's fine, honestly. That's a really interesting build. And we've got Sisters of Twilight coming in. Okay, so my Skull Cannon is going to get really bullied here. Which is going to be real ugly. But, you know, if that's how it goes, that's how it goes, I guess. Get a little bit of damage on the Sisters there. We kill one model. Get a little HP damage on them. And a little bit is going to help. He's just going to come screaming back here for Valkia, I think, is going to be the play. And the Cultist is probably also going to be a little vulnerable here. I'm going to back up some. What do we bring out first? I think we bring out a Chaos Knight. Chaos Knight going to be pretty good here. It's going to be nice mass. And also be able to put some good DPS. And we just shouldn't panic here. We need to get the charge. Fire in. Move up to the point. Get the Chaos Knights out now. To go after these Sisters of the Thorn, who are engaged in combat a little too long here. We're going to take some ugly damage. Corngors are getting messed up a little bit. We should just pull them back into the trees. Took a bunch of damage there. We get a regrowth going down. Okay, which is nice. That's definitely something. Valkia is just going to duel here for a minute. She should get some nice damage in on Sisters here. Yeah, Sisters are a great unit. They can struggle against armor pretty badly, though. Like, just a bunch of Chaos Warriors are going to be able to soak up a lot of shots here. And, he's actually not paying enough attention to this unit. We're going to get the charge off here. Valkia just needs to land on the ground, and we'll try and come and save her here. The Chaos Knights can hit hard, so we're going to do that. Minotaur unit. Maybe just the Hounds, though. Hounds of the Blood Hunt should be able to punish pretty nicely. We'll send Marauders into the Eternal Guard and just pull these Knights away. Valkia might end up getting killed, but it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. We've got Sisters of the Thorn just hanging out in combat over here against our Marauders, which is a really cost-effective trade for us. We're taking some pretty serious punishment. We're just gonna keep posted up here in the middle, and the Hounds of the Blood Hunt need to keep chasing, actually. And we can send another guy over here. Wild Rider's coming out. Wild Rider's gonna do some nice hammering here. We'll pull back now. We just need to play with our infantry. We don't need to be silly about this game here. Like, we've got the advantage in the infantry game. Most areas of this battle we should have a pretty good advantage in. We're gonna just keep drawing the Wood Elves deeper and deeper here. So I think we can actually beat them pretty badly. Valkia just needs to stay in the trees here. She's actually pretty safe in the trees. Let's go over here. Oh, Shield of Thorns is going down. Let's try and get away, and we'll bring another Fleshhound out to go get those guys. Sitting on the middle objective here, we're doing pretty nicely. Nothing too crazy to worry about. We've got some Eternal Guard and stuff moving up, which we can engage. We'll get over there. Valkia needs to run again and pop Demon Shield. Because she's just getting hounded down. Just sitting on the middle point here. Nothing crazy going on. Trying to avoid Valkia getting absolutely iced here. We got the Wild Hunters of Kurnus in the trees over there. Oh my god, they're getting wrecked by the, Like, see, my opponent's doing a decent job of sniping Valkia, but Valkia is just gonna do her very damnedest to get away from all this. We'll drop a Sloupnir. I mean, there's not a lot of infantry. We might as well just do damage to his expensive stuff as much as possible. We're just gonna sit in the trees here. He's not gonna be able to move us. See if we can land and maybe get infantry on top of the Spellsinger here. All of the Hounds over here kind of, like, eventually getting crumbled out, but he's taking a ton of damage in the process, and we're holding on to all the points here. Getting a decent little ticket lead. He wants to charge Chosen down, which is not a good decision. It's not going to be great for him. Valkia can hide in the infantry here. She's probably going to die, but maybe we should just save up to get, more units out. Just gonna keep using infantry to stuff here in the trees, because they're decently safe. Lots of Glade Riders, crazy, goofy stuff coming in. Come to the middle. It's taken a long time to kill Valkia, and that is really nice for me. Like, my opponent's got a little bit of an advantage in some regards, but nothing too tremendous that we can't effectively deal with, I think. We've still got Chaos Knights. Got the Cultist and Korngors hiding in the trees. The Skull Cannon's fighting the Spellsinger, actually, and doing some good damage. We're gonna use the Furies to hit the Spellsinger here, maybe. Like, Valkia's just gonna die, and we're just gonna have to live with that for a bit. Like, what are we really gonna do about it? We can actually trap the, Sisters of the Thorn here, maybe. Nah, paying too much attention to that, but we can probably, like, hound them to the edge of the map. And the Minotaurs are gonna come out. We're actually chewing on the Spellsinger. You see how much damage it's taken? It's actually amazing for me. And, we pop this here, I think. And I'm gonna use the, Bloodletter Summon, because there's 2 infantry units just waiting to get wrecked here. And we pile into the back of this combat, and now we're gonna beat the Bladesingers and the Dryads here. Which is gonna be super awesome, because Bladesingers are so expensive. We'll land in there. Valkia does die. That is what it is. Sometimes you can't do anything about stuff like that. Pull out the Chaos Knights. And we'll send infantry forward. We'll send these Minotaurs in. My opponent's trying to push the Bladesingers through, but it's not going to work. It's going to take forever to actually get through there. And I think we save up and bring Valkia in, so our leadership isn't total dog. Let's pull back, and we get terror routed there. But we're running over the Bladesingers here, and we can pull back over to this point with infantry. We can leave these guys here, and we'll send that unit forward. Pull back the Chaos Knights for a minute. And Valkia coming back in should give us some staying power into the later stages of the game, actually. More Sisters coming out. We'll fire at these guys. And we can shoot, we can drop Sloutnir again, of course. And then maybe she can beat up on the Sisters of Twilight, which would be pretty nice for me. Let's pull away, because those are Bladesingers coming in. Chosen are decent against Bladesingers, but don't really want to be stuck in combat against them for too long. We can send some warriors forward.
One of your units has been destroyed.
And we'll try and use our Skull Cannon to punish these guys. Because it can do some pretty good damage to them. We'll use our Horn there. I'm going to send stuff over here now and just mad punish these Bladesingers for being alive. And another Fleshhound here. Actually got a pretty good situation here because the Sisters landed. They're gonna get smacked up here. Absolutely dapped up, I hope, by the Minotaurs. This is a pretty frustrating fight here. Like, it's not easy at all, but Valkia coming back in is gonna be so money, dude.
Witness my strength.
She's gonna do big damage here, I hope. We actually get through a lot of the units here in the middle. The Bladesingers have Shield of Thorns on them, but it's not that big of a deal. I'm gonna pull out a little bit. And we're not gonna engage those guys, because my opponent's trying to bait me into blowing myself up, which I want to avoid as much as possible. Fleshies need to get up to the point. We're going to bring more Fleshhounds out. I should have waited for the Hounds of the Blood Hunt, but it is probably not going to be too big of a deal. How'd the Minotaurs do, man? Ugh. They just got run over. Oh, this is frustrating. Like, there's just not enough I can do here. He's been breaking down my infantry all game. Very slowly but surely. Killing Valkia was also pretty painful. We've got the, Wild Riders coming in here with Shield of Thorns, trying to get me to charge them down while they've got that ability active, which I don't really want to be a part of. Where's Valkia? Valkia's chasing stuff in the middle of nowhere. And we did get hit. Oh, no. Disaster for me. How long does this last? Wow, man. Forever on that. Let's see if we can pull him into the Corngores. That'd be pretty nice. But attack speed is paying attention and just pulls away. We're probably going to get triple capped here, and that will be it for me. It's a very nice Wood Elf build. It's pretty juicy, honestly. Like, it's just a build-up and counter-push strategy. And they just use tons of mobility against you that you can't adequately counter, just by virtue of there being so much. And then Sisters of the Thorn, they're just very strong lords, man. Very powerful combatants.
Certain death.
Owie. That's gonna be it for us. Very well played. I'll have to come up with something a little bit different for that matchup next time. That was definitely something. So the infantry were a little bit of the weak link. The Chosen were awesome, but the Chaos Warriors, they didn't do nearly all that well. Probably should have just kept my Flesh Hounds in the center, because playing off on the side, where they were split away from the rest of my army, that ended up being a big mistake, and the Minotaurs didn't have anything to do that entire game. They're just too slow to catch anything. Yeah, Sisters of Twilight are pretty damn good. I mean, they counter all of your Lord options. Wonder what Khorne can do to counter them. I've got a few ideas. I think attack speed's build is beatable. And I think I could have even won that game with what I had if I had just not been over-pursuing my Flesh Hounds on the side points. Because I wasn't doing any damage out there, really. And was just kind of taking what I could get my hands on. It was a little bit rough. The Sisters of the Thorn were really nice, man. All that melee damage reflection was pretty money for him. Maybe double Skull Cannon. Since it's gonna be just tons of Sisters and other such nonsense. That way you can actually punish. I do like the Chaos Warriors, but maybe you just bring Chosen and some Marauders. And with 2600, what do you bring? Chaos Knight, one more of each of these. Cultist was really strong. Maybe you bring Karanak, though, in reserve. But the throwing axes have been good. You know, the throwing axes may have not even been bad there, because Sisters of the Thorn are pretty short range. When they've got Shield of Thorns up, you can bring the Horsemen forward to get damage, and you can just throw a Marauder in front of them. Losing a Marauder while enemies are like doing damage reflection is not a big deal, and you can probably punish pretty hard with your own throwing axes in return. Because the Wood Elves, without a bunch of long-range missiles, are going to be trying to dive these guys with cavalry and stuff. That's where Blood Beasts and Minotaurs and Chaos Knights and stuff can come in. Maybe double Chaos Knight. Just something that I've used before against the Wood Elves. I don't think you need Khorngors. Khorngors are really not that good against Wood Elves in my experience. They just kind of get hammered, honestly. I mean, they really struggle against the mobility and the missile play, because their armor's not that great. Even basic Glade Guard can poke those guys down pretty quickly. Just something really aggressive with high armor, so that the javelins from Sisters of the Thorn can't do that much. And next time, I'm going to try and stay away from the Sisters of Twilight as much as possible. And having mass around to punish their landings is another big deal. Another thing that I wasn't really making a lot of use of. Yeah, exactly. Corngores aren't really needed because you've got magic damage, and there's like no armor on any of the mobility options for the Wood Elves outside of the whatchamacallits, the Stag Knights, and they've only got 60 armor. Just not that much. I think I can win that next time. And, you know, like, Skull Taker would be a decent idea, but there's nothing for him to engage in that build. He'd probably end up being just as vulnerable as Valkia, and Valkia's just cheaper. She has Demon Shield, too, to stop damage up. We'll see about it. Ghost King, what are you playing, Ghost King? Hit me up with the build. Oh, you were playing Khorne. Oh. Khorne, it's pretty tricky to fight the Shredder or the Dreadsaurian, because it does so much damage to all of your anti-large stuff. Like, Corngores kind of just get flattened by its collision attacks, and its mass is so high that it just pushes right out of these guys. Skull Crushers actually can surround it and stop its momentum up, believe it or not. They've got a lot of models, and their mass is 1,500 each. They're pretty okay at locking big stuff like that down. And they're shielded and heavily armored, so Chameleon Skink pressure just bounces off of these guys. They can run over lots of Lizardman stuff. There's something to think about. They're much better now that they have 70 speed. They used to be just absolute dog water, but they're much better just from getting the extra speed. Let's go take a peek at bracket. So, we're down here in the pits, where we belong, I guess. We'll formulate something. Some kind of scheming revenge against the Wood Elves if we end up in the top 4. And we end up against attack speed. I'll have something on tap by that point to answer those nasty elves. We need to also go take a peek at the Sisters of Twilight, because they come in on the Forest Dragon. I don't think Eagle Quiver was there. Soporific Breath is super punishing. Oh, Blood Speaker. How many Corngores did you have? I don't think Corngores are very good in the opening. I'm gonna be honest. They're good for being a infantry cap piece, so I maybe bring one in the opener. You had Eagle Quiver and no heal. Oh, just because you had the life magic, I guess? Okay. Oh, yeah, because this is an arrow of Kurnus. That's right. And that's what I was saying, get shot. Okay. Makes sense. Conjoined Destiny does take a while to proc, so I guess I can understand not bringing that. I thought you might have brought it just because, you know, you can get away with the sisters pretty easily. And then your Spellsinger just doesn't even have to heal them and waste time with that, and you can just use it on all the other stuff. You had 2 Korngors in the opening, Ghost King? Okay. That's fine. I like that. I mean, you do want to have a lot of Korngors against lizards for a lot of reasons. They do okay damage to Saurus in a pinch, even. Yeah, usually your stuff routes when it triggers. That's true. Because the, what is the leadership on the Sisters of Twilight? 80? Yeah, 25% of HP, that's pretty damn low for a lot of these characters. I can totally see that being a persistent issue. Okay. Thanks for letting me know, Tom. Let's see who we got this time. Maybe we won't get bounced so hard this game. No, we gotta buy around. Oh, I'm devastated. Come on, dude. Well, no chance we get top 4 then, but that's okay. Let's go watch Boss Toss and Orange Pest play. Because Boss is on Kislev, and Orange Pest is probably playing Greenskins. I'd be shocked if he isn't. It's like his one and only, seemingly. Which I totally respect. That is very much me with the Blood God. Yeah, thanks attack speed. I'm gonna have a great round this time. Good luck with your games, dude. I hope you make it to top 4. Wood Elves are always fun to watch. I don't get people hating on them. Like, they can be very frustrating when they're just kiting you out. But they've got a lot of drawbacks to their strengths. Nothing is free and easy with them. Yeah, right? Exactly. I'm undefeated in buy rounds, guys. You have no idea how hard that is to pull off. And, who is... Oh, yeah, Boss Toss. Let's go find Boss. Okay, well, thank you, Orange. Cool, cool. Okay, cool. Here we go, guys. And, yeah, there we go. No giving it up. So, Crystal Lake is a pretty open field map, which is great for shooting, and honestly, both factions are pretty good at it in their own ways. You know, the orcs are a little bit more limited in their options. It's mostly just bows that they're using if they're going to be skirmishing any. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Crystal Lake, there's some pretty good spots for Streltsy to set up, though. Since it's got, like, this big slope that goes all the way down to the low ground objective, if you position stuff on the middle point, like some Streltsy, and get them on the edges of the objective, you can actually fire down and cover that low ground objective with those guys. And since they're on an elevated position, the gunpowder is much more accurate from up there, so they might be able to do some big damage. That's if Boss is even bringing those guys, though, because Kislev has a lot of really strong bow units, and that's usually what I do when I play Kislev. I like to bring some Ice Guard for the slows, and then cheap Ice Witches to drop the their AoE slow. And then you can get Frostbite on top of all that, and it's just gross. I mean, move units can go from like 90 speed down to about 15 in no time flat. It's pretty insane how quickly those can all stack up. And a very underrated, very hilarious thing you can do is bring Boydanov's Brawlers and just absolutely unload on stuff with those guys. They're really short range, but a lot of people treat them like any other blunderbuss unit and just try to charge them down. If you can stack all your slows on top of something that's charging them, they've got their own suppression effect, which lowers speed another 30%. If you catch something in the radius and you play your cards right, you can ice it in like 2 volleys, and the unit doesn't even get a chance to disengage, which is really funny. One of my favorite combos, and it looks like we do have a cheap Ice Witch. Actually, on the Worm here, but is going with just Ice Maiden's Kiss, which is a really good spell. Does tons of damage. If you overcast it, it's really not that much more expensive, and you get double the damage. And against all of these low armor orc boys, it's just going to be an absolute feast for her. She's definitely going to party. We've got a couple of light war sleds, too, which is interesting. Not something that you see too terribly often from Kislev anymore. War sleds used to be the mainstay of the Kislev forces, but they've gotten a bunch of nerfs over time. Now they're a little bit less prevalent, but still really good. I mean, good range, very hard-hitting missiles, tons of ammunition, and there's actually quite a few guys in these sleds themselves. So you've got like 4 dudes firing the gunpowder. And looking at how hard they hit, I mean, 34 armor-piercing damage split across the 4 models is pretty devastating. And I think that's each one of the individual musketeers as well, so there's actually a lot of damage output from the range on the light war sleds. They should be able to keep the Goblin Wolf Riders at bay, because they can be pretty annoying, like jumping over and capping objectives constantly. They should be good at shooting Gorbad and the Orc Shaman. Orange Pest might have a really hard time here. There's not a lot of mass, so I know that there's going to be lots of Boar Boys, almost assuredly, but nothing in the opener in that regard might give the light war sleds an opportunity to go run over some of the Orc Boys before they can really get damaged. And they do really good damage on the charge still. It's just that their mass isn't nearly as crazy as it used to be. Ooh. Huge first volley. Takes a good chunk of HP out of the Wolf Riders here. Down about 15% of their HP right off the rip here. On the War Sleds, looking to screen them out still. Gonna be capping this objective away. Get another nice volley, pick off a couple more models. Look how many of these Wolf Riders are already gone, man. I mean, they've lost 11 models out of this unit. The other ones lost a couple. Nothing too damaging, but it's just gonna be a slowly compounding issue for the Greenskins this game. Ice Witch is sitting on the number 2 here. She's not too terribly vulnerable to the poke from missiles. She's got 110 armor on this thing. You can look for an opportunity to drop an Ice Maiden's Kiss, potentially. Some blobbing going on, but now the Wolf Riders pull away, and they're looking to actually hold on to the point by screening the edge of it. Kossars and the Kossars with spears moving up. More Kossars, lots of armored guys, of course. Armored Kossars are really good in this matchup. They're pretty good at poking through the bronze shields. Kossars with spears can defend themselves against cav charges okay. Beautiful Ice Maiden's Kiss. Punishing the blob here and doing a lot of damage to Rugloods. These guys have 70 armor, which is pretty thick, but it can be a little bit vulnerable to getting hit by wind spells with some good damage output. Can only mitigate so much of the actual damage. Gorbat is locked in combat here, and the Ice Witch gets a nice swing in on him, and he's pulling out, trying to get away. She should be able to beat up on this guy and have a pretty good go of it. Dervishes come out. They are taking on the Squig summon here, which did get Empowering Shrooms. The Dervishes are probably going to die here, and that's going to be a little bit of a loss for Kislev, but these Ice Maiden's Kisses doing some good work. You've never seen Skirmish Cav for Greenskins? You're not playing the really good Greenskin players, then. They love the Wolf Rider Archers. They're pretty easy to protect, and they're really fast. They're only 300 gold. They get that back pretty easily, and just being able to run around and cap objectives away is really damn strong. Brain Burster going down here. And the Orc Boar Boy Biggin's trying to hang in here. Doing some good damage to the Ice Witch, but she is backed up by some Armored Kossars, who should be able to anchor this point for a good long while. One Armored Kossar going down here. Kossifite Dervishes just anchoring away and keeping that Squig Herd summon from getting any damage done. Oh no! That's sick, dude. The Snow Leopard has caught Gorbat out in the open field. It is the summon as well, and that is easily worth the amount of gold that you pay for it. Almost 400 gold value damage on that thing. Beautiful work. Not ice sleds, but the war sleds running over the Orc Boys here. Orc Boar Boy Biggin's trying to push into the backfield, and the Kossars with spears got punished really hard. Another great Ice Maiden's Kiss, just slowly chipping away the HP on all these units. Greenskins are running pretty roughshod over some of the Kissify units on the middle objective. The low ground is a little bit better for them. They're still struggling a little bit, though. They've crushed some of the Biggins here. They've got Winged Lancers looking to get rid of this other Biggins unit. Lots of Squig Herds coming out. A Boar Boy is coming onto the field. The missile line has not been touched right now from the Greenskins, and the Light War Sleds are really struggling to disengage now. This unit has taken a ton of damage and might not be able to get away. Orange Pest might beat Boss Toss here with the way this battle is developing so far. Boss isn't the type to panic, though. Does have a good position on the low ground still. Boar Boys here, isolated by the Winged Lancers, taking a bunch of damage. Squig Herd, though, should be able to get some work done, but they actually get terror routed. How the hell did they get terror routed from all the way over here, though? That's crazy. Terror route goes down on those guys. They are going to be running for their lives. Winged Lancers might be able to turn around and respond to the Squig Herd pressure onto the Kossars there. Kissifite Warriors taking a fight against the Boar Boys. Not the best fight in the world, but they've got Light War Sleds coming in to help. 3 models left, and they get a great side charge. Look at them chunking through the HP, man. Good value on them. This Light War Sled, though, got bullied pretty badly, which is really, really unfortunate. Boss is bringing it back a little bit. Just having the Unbreakable on everything and slowly grinding down the front line might give some opportunities to finish up all these Error Boys in the later stages of the game. And we do have a decently healthy Ice Witch. She's got 1200 value. Needs to stay away from the missiles before some allies can come in, some mobility, to start hammering home here. Orange Pest should probably turn Rugloods over to also shoot at the Ice Witch, just trying to finish her. There's no Patriarch healing yet, and she's decently low. I would say it'd be worth it to try and just gun her down here. you've got enough missile units to be able to make it happen. And Gorbad, decently healthy, got away from the Snow Leopard, and is buffing everything up in this fight, you know? I mean, he's just so nice. Giving that +10/+10 in radius, and it always being active, makes it really difficult to value trade against the Greenskins. Kislevi Warriors getting charged by the Squig Herd. We do have Winged Lancers getting in here as well, crushing those guys right quick. But there are 2 Squig Herds still in here, and they're doing a lot of damage, man. The Orcs of the Best is popped on them. They also were getting Gorbad's buffs from his radius. He is pushing back, though, trying to help out the Rugloods. Trying to get away here. Boar Boys come out, and they're going to crush the Winged Lancers on the charge, since they've got Wa active. They got the extra melee attack, of course. Pretty good addition to their weapon strength, and they've got good AP values. Ouch, dude. Greenskin's starting to acquire a bit more of a value lead here. Orc Shaman does go down. It's going to be really hard for the Ice Witch, though, to push through all of these Wolf Raiders, while also getting pin-cushioned by all the missiles here. Patriarch comes out, does have Salyax, going to be popping it here. Should be a nice heal for the Ice Witch. And the Light War Sled. This Light War Sled's doing some really good work now. Maybe keeping that in reserve next time, and being a summon in the late game wouldn't be a bad idea. But having it out on the field early, I guess, isn't also terrible, just because it was shooting at the Goblin Wolf Raiders pretty nicely. I'm going to need to ask Boss about the philosophy behind these, because I just feel like there's too much mass for the Greenskins for them to get around the field effectively. You can see here, Orc Boys finally get on top of these War Sleds. This might be the death sentence for them. There are some Kislevite Warriors and things in the woods following this up, which are getting some good damage. Maybe if they're all anchored together, and you get a good Salyax on everything here, maybe you can hang into this game still. You can see the Greenskins are kind of faltering a little bit. Savage Orcs are pushing up. They're getting some good damage on the Kossovite Dervishes. Dervishes don't really want to be fighting Savage Orcs. They don't have great damage output. Dervishes really are kind of dedicated anti-ranged units. They just can't fight melee all that long. They've got pretty low stats. They've got a good charge bonus. They need to hit and run. They can't really sit in here and grind. But you gotta hang on to the objectives, because it's going to be triple cap territory soon. I guess I understand it. It's going to make the value trading a little bit more difficult, though. But most of the archers are taken offline. Rugloods are on their way out. The Things of the Woods here with the Kislevite Warriors. Good stacking. Should be able to finish these guys. They've gotten a ton of value, though. 1,500 on a 700 gold unit. 700 or 750 or whatever they cost. More than worth it. In the long and short of things. And the Orc Air Boys, dude. Just great value across the board. More Winged Lancers coming out. They should definitely hammer home pretty nicely here. They get a great charge off. It's a little too much here, though, maybe. They are going to hammer down the Orc Boar Boys and hang on to this objective a little bit longer. But the Savage Orcs, dude, man, oh man, they're getting some good damage in here. 550 gold unit. And being able to hang in here, grind through the Dervishes and the Kislevite Warriors, soaking up a big charge on the Winged Lancers, helping out their Boar Boy compatriots to get some damage in as well. Really awesome stuff, and Degreet Leader is here. Just hanging out in the back, trolling around, being a huge jerk and being very difficult to handle for Kislev. Kislev trying to hang on to the number 2 now. Number 3 is flipping, though, and it's getting really scary. If they lose this objective, holding on to the triple cap is going to be pretty tough, just because of the cap weight that the Orcs are able to throw out onto the field. You know, Orc Boys do have full cap weight. They're 425 gold. Cheaper than Kislevite Warriors, and they beat them in combat. The only thing that Kislev can throw forward that would beat an Orc Boy is an Armored Kossar, but then you gotta worry about the Boar Boys. The Boar Boys might be able to finish off the Light War Sleds in a pinch if they need to. They are trying to get a rear charge here. Winged Lancers looking to answer that, though. And a good turnaround from the Ice Witch, who should be able to anchor pretty well here and maybe get a tear route off. You can see she's done some really good damage this game. 2,300 value on her. Just dropping Ice Maiden's Kiss, fighting against cavalry units, and the like. Boss staying very competitive in a pretty rough game up to this point. Another Ice Maiden's Kiss goes down and doesn't actually break the leadership or tear out these guys. They're barely hanging on for dear life, though. Very low Savage Orc unit here. The Winged Lancers starting to take this over, man. Winged Lancers are such a good unit. Great damage, and a Snow Leopard. A second Snow Leopard has hit the field, ladies and gentlemen. Finding Gorbad, looking to get in front of him and maybe lock him down. I'm not sure what's going on here. Playing a dance of death, I suppose. Trying to stay away from the Squig Herd, who are trying to surround that unit and finish it off. Kislev did hold on to that objective, but the Greenskins might be able to flip the number 2. No, Kislev Light Warriors get up on the point with the characters and are just able to hang on to this. Salyak's Lullaby coming off cooldown, maybe. Would be pretty nice to use it here. Snow Leopard gets a couple more shots in on Grom, or on Gorbad, I should say, not Grom. But is going to go down here to the Squig Herd and the Moon Howlers, who have moved out onto the field, trying to finish those guys off. And the Light War Sled, man. 2,000 value on this War Sled. If only the other one were alive still, man. It's exactly what they can do in full effect. They just run over infantry all day and help with the terror that the Ice Witch on the Worm causes. Really starting to punish the Greenskins. They're going to struggle to hang on to the number 1. They've been scrapping over taking these points that Kislev's been fighting over all game a lot, which has left them very vulnerable to trying to Helm's Deep. They don't have anything developed up over here. And Kislev, man, with the good leadership and with the heals on the Ice Witch, who is now pretty healthy. Salyak's Lullaby, all the uses going down on the Lord. And, you know, trying to shoot down the Ice Witch, proving to be the pitfall of all pitfalls. I called for it, ended up being a big mistake. That's probably about 1,500 damage value that just isn't properly reflected up here. And you can see Kislev's starting to take over this game. They've got a lot of good mobility out in the field. Gorbad is struggling to provide the buffs now. Can't really hang in anywhere to get the Great Leader online. Since there's a little bit too much around, even if they don't have AP values, just chipping him down slowly would be worth it. And then he has to put himself in danger to cast Orcs at best. And it's on a pretty long cooldown of 90 seconds. It can only do so much to get in here and try and flip these fights. Very good resilience from Boss, dude. Amazing stuff. Just sticking with it the whole game here. Scrapping down in value pretty much the entire time, but not being discouraged by that. Kislevite Warriors fighting the Spears here. 2 of them, actually. They should be able to finish this unit off. Not really anything to worry about. And Boss is going to take this game here. Crazy match. I'm going to save that one. We'll just... Never mind. We didn't get time to type our gobbledygook. All the Air Boys did nicely. They all paid for themselves. These guys are 2 gold value off. But Rugloods and the other Orc Air Boy more than made up for it. Crazy value on the Rugloods, dude. 1698 is absolutely wild to me. Orc Shaman with 1102 was casting Brainburster and Gaze of Mork most of that game. Pretty good damage spells. Definitely helped wear down the Kossars. Because the Kossars were doing okay until they started getting hit by all the Brainbursters, and then they started to melt a little bit. And then when the Orc units pushed through the front line of the armored Kossars and got on top of them, it was kind of game set match for them. Their light armor just ended up getting overwhelmed, despite having pretty good defensive stats. And really, it was the Ice Witch, dude. Ice Witch with the Patriarch healing. With this Light War Sled, really carried that game for the for Kislev. 220 kills, 1700 value, 580 on the other one. At least it half paid for itself, and the other made up for any lackluster performance. Things of the Woods did well. Snow Leopard got a little work done. The Winged Lancers, they all got their value back, which is pretty nice. And some of them came out there at the end and were pretty beat up. But just keeping them around on the field to grind was a good call. I'm pleasantly surprised by the Kislevi Warriors. In reserve, I guess it honestly makes a lot of sense. Your opponent probably is going to have tons of Boar Boys on the field, which you can see here, tons of mobile units in reserve. So having these guys around just to poke down all the squigs and boars is a pretty good call, even if they are very vulnerable to the missile fire. But that is, I guess, why Boss waited so long to start bringing them out, despite down trading for a while with the Dervishes and the Winged Lancers. Just slowly wearing out all the ammo and HP on the Air Boys before bringing up your squishy halberds. Very good play. Boss is so practiced with all these builds. Boss just letting me know he's not going to be able to play in the top 4 if he ends up making it. What do you mean pass round? Oh, yeah, from the first round. Okay. It should. Dude, I swear, I hate having to go in and manually adjust people's Swiss points all the time. Buy rounds are very funky. It says he's got a Swiss point here. Somebody must have fixed it for me already. Which I do very much appreciate. Let me make sure everybody's got the points they're supposed to have. Alright, cool. We're set. Chat coming in here and falling apart on me. Not you guys, but like the actual freaking setup for YouTube. I don't know why it's so garbo. Don't bring Fleshhounds against Dwarves. Dwarves have too much armor and they're super squishy to Slayers. Slayers absolutely feast on Fleshhounds. I wouldn't bring any of those units against Dwarves. You want to know how to beat Dowie Ghost King? You just bring Bloodletters. Just every single Bloodletter you can stick in your army, you bring, because they out-damage the Dowie front line so badly. You bring a couple of Shielded Warriors who take an initial engagement while the Bloodletters try to circle around the back. And you just flood the field, man. It's just a full court press against the Dwarves. You don't want to engage too early if they go really wide. The best thing you can do, you bring Valkia. She doesn't really fight the character, she just defends against gyrocopters. She's very good at that. You bring a couple of Furies, you don't need to bring that many of them. Bloodwake Berserkers are a really good unit here. You can definitely include them in the Dowie. They can struggle against them. You can bring a couple of Marauders, just because they can catch arrows. You can bring a Chaos Warrior. If you want to bring heroes, you should bring Blood Reapers, because they do really good damage. How do Bloodletters do against Iron Drakes? They're weak to the Flamethrowers, but the Flamethrowers are super short range. The way you shut those down is you dive with Furies. And by the time the Furies are dead, usually the Bloodletters have gotten through the front line. And then you just profit. This is usually the setup I go with, just as a base here. 3 Bloodletters in the opening, 2 in reserve. You want a lot of infantry, because the Dowie are so slow. They're so ponderous. It takes them ages to get anywhere. You can usually punish them pretty good. Gorebeast Chariots are okay in this matchup. They do pretty good damage. And the only thing you do with Gore Beasts, you don't use them to try and get through the Dowie front line. You send them around the flank and try and run over all the reinforcements. Because Slayers are terrible against heavily armored chariots. They do no damage. And because they have no armor, they're super squishy to the 70 weapon strength. Slayers will get halved by a good Gore Beast charge. It's really brutal. What else can you bring? Bring an Exalted Bloodletter. That's getting a little expensive. I usually bring one in reserve. Because they're just, you know, the ultimate can opener type unit. Anything that's heavily armored gets absolutely wrecked. What else can you do? Another warrior and another marauder isn't bad. Blood beasts are okay, but I think one armored minotaur is usually going to be enough to bully up on the dwarves. And you bring one throwing axe for Doomseekers. And they can also shoot at the other Slayer variants, but you bring these guys whenever a Doomseeker comes out and try to get them on the flank. They'll just do insane damage to them. Bloodweak Berserkers can be in reserve, I guess, if you want. Or you can start out with them and cut the Gore Beast Chariot in the opening. And get rid of those guys. You can bring some dual weapons, too. Dual weapons trade really well into Slayers. They're also pretty good against Miners and the Dowie Warriors. This is one of the matchups where anything with anti-infantry, you kind of want to get into this build, because they'll do really well here. I mean, you could bring a couple Fleshhound. You could bring one Fleshhound, because they can get into the backfield and shut down, like, Rangers and Bugmans. No Wrathmongers. I mean, Wrathmongers are really good against the dwarves, but any kind of artillery is an excellent choice against the Wrathmongers, and against Dowie, you can't really dive their cannons all that well. So you need to play very cautiously with these guys. If your opponent brings Goblobbers or just regular old cannons, Bloodwake Berserkers have to hide for a little while. That way they don't get smacked up. They need to get into some trees and try and stay away from that attention. Then they come out once the front line engages, and they can go flank with their decent foot speed and maybe push into the middle field, like trying to get onto the range units. Yeah, it's true. It's hard to shoot Wrathmongers with cannons when they're in combat. But that's why you wait for a little bit before you jump in with these guys. You gotta push them as close in as possible without taking any damage. So getting up through trees, getting behind shot blockers, hiding them, and just trying to get your opponent to be paying attention to other stuff first before you send them in is the way to go about it. Minotaurs are good, but they're squishy to missile fire and to Slayers, so bringing one and just using one really well usually is the play. And the Dowie are just going to struggle with this many Bloodletters on the field. Bloodletters open up all the armored stuff, and Forsaken can run around and try and get on top of Rangers and support the Fury and Fleshhound dive. And the Marauder Horsemen, like I said, are for the Doomseekers. And the Minos, too. Minos can also beat the Doomseekers. You want to keep Bloodwake Berserkers away from the Doomseekers as well. Because they do pretty good damage to them, since they have an actual bonus versus infantry. Even though these guys do win the fight, they take a ton of damage in the process. And the Dowie can afford to, like, throw units in a little inefficiently, just because they can win at range against you pretty damn hard. And these guys have pretty good stats in their own right. The bonus versus infantry of 15 on top of 54 melee attack, and that's not even considering bringing the ROR variant, which is also really strong. They'll easily punch in on the 61 melee defense. You can also bring Skull Taker, though, because Skull Taker is really tanky, and he's great at killing infantry. Then you don't need to bring as many Bloodletters. You can bring a couple more Shielded Warriors, and maybe you can slow push the Dowie back. That's usually a little riskier, though. The better trades in the front line with the Bloodletters is what you should go for. As long as you can shut down their missiles, you should be okay. Round 2 done? Thank you. Alright. If we get another buy round, I am gonna take somebody's spot. We'll see, though. Did it give me my Swiss point? It did not. It's so bizarre. Turin is updating the site. It'll get fixed up someday here. Alright, and who are we playing? Since we have no wins... Ooh, Via. Damn, dude, okay. It's gonna be a tough game. Who is Via playing? Oh, Empire. Oh, dude. Empire versus Khorne. Lots of skirmish factions today. We'll see what we can get done. I've got some pretty solid anti-Empire builds. Can be a little tough, though. They just got so much good shooting. Free Company Militia are really frustrating to have to deal with, because they're okay in melee. They've got the pistols. And they fire on the move, so they can kind of hound down some of your units if you try to disengage. Post this here. Map, I think, is actually Scalandiers, right? Oh, Dunes. Ah. This should be a good map for me. Since it's like a bowl here in the middle, artillery has to get up over the crest to be used effectively. You can hide on the other side of it to avoid cannon fire. And also maneuver around your own artillery pieces, which maybe I'll be doing a little bit of. I'm gonna try and come up with something devious here. How's Khorne versus Empire right now? Why do I not even see Empire on here? What the hell? Oh, they're up here. Oh my goodness. 71% win rate against them. Wow. That's crazy. It's a little surprising, honestly. I don't feel like it's that bad for Empire. It's not easy, but surely they've got some serious tools. 'tis mid-noon for me, actually. Via's having a good evening, though, apparently, which is nice. Do we go wide here, or do we go for a little... You know what? I'm gonna do it. I don't think this is... I don't think this is a great idea. But I do have some questions and curiosities about how this unit might perform here. Don't ever be afraid to do something a little different. We got 2,000 gold left. What do we bring? That would be a little too much. That's beyond silly. Oh. There you go. So y'all aren't staring at the dark screen of doom. Bring some rat ogres, you know? I don't think there's any reason not to. Bring a bunch of these. Anything else silly we want? This build is really goofy. Will not work, probably. But we were already not getting into the top 4. I might as well try stuff out, you know? Just playing the same stuff over and over again, not only gets a little boring, for obvious reasons, but sometimes it just, like, stagnates your development as a player. Not really exploring stuff usually isn't very good for your long-term gaming. Alright, well, with our build, this could be the shortest game of all time, or we could get a crushing victory here. Arbol and Sylar are here to party, do their thing. We'll see what they can do. We got one skull cannon. I just love skull cannons. How am I supposed to resist that? I need to actually flop those around. Just gonna mess with my muscle memory. Like, in my opinion, Skull Crusher, or, Skull Cannons are probably the most important unit on the Khorne roster. I know that probably sounds crazy to most people. I really do think they're actually that good. They are damn strong, and they counter a lot of the stuff that Khorne is very traditionally weak to, which is really cool. Tons of Marauders. I don't really go with very heavy metal infantry against the Empire, so I don't really think you need it. I think countering their mobility is much more important. Khorne Gores, lots of Blood Beasts, Chaos Knights, a Fury and a Fleshhound in reserve. Probably going to be enough. We'll see, though. People really love countering Khorne Gores. So, oftentimes, people aren't ready for lots of, like, Chaos Knights and Blood Beasts coming out first, with backed up by just a horde of Marauders.
Takers of skulls!
We'll see how it goes, though. You know, Empire do have Pistoliers who could counter our throwing axes pretty hard, so we'll need to be very careful of it. Theoretically, though, that's what our Chaos Knights can maybe try and screen for a little bit.
Blood for the Blood God!
Where do I keep these guys? I'll keep them over here for now. Maybe we can jump out on the number 3. Apparently, we're also, I counter Khorne Gores by playing the faction with the least amount of large units. That's thinking big, fellas. That's thinking big there. Like, why counter Khorne Gore? Not have big unit better. Oh, just tons of Outriders with backed up by grenade launchers. Owie, this is going to be really brutal for me if I'm not careful, because these guys hit pretty damn hard. Keep Arbol, Scylla here. Empire Knights coming in. Lots of Empire. Oh my god, dude. Wow, this is pretty much a straight counter to my entire army, honestly.
Keep it from the foe.
I don't think we get overeager, though. I think we're just going to stay back some. Just try and avoid as much of the Outrider fire as possible, and we'll push over the top. Send all this stuff in. Scylla's going to go in. Scylla's really good against Knights. Like, Empire Knights and stuff can kind of struggle with what Scylla's able to do. Skull Cannon got a nice shot there. We're going to keep poking those guys down. Move in, stay away, stay away. Bring a Chaos Knight out to go after these Empire Knights who are screaming over here. Skull Cannon's getting some good work done. Stay away here, fly over the top. Just keep moving up. Oh, look at those Outrider grenade launchers, dude. Those units are just so crazy. They do so much damage, man. Let's just get in here and engage the Spearmen. We need to get into combat here. Let's try and push through some and into the back line, maybe. The Furies are getting charged down and getting absolutely wrecked currently, which is really rough. Fleshhound, go. I summon Yi. We'll rampage a bunch of stuff here with Scylla. And maybe we can punish with the Skull Cannon. Skull Cannons are very good at shooting into blobs, dude. We'll stay here. We'll actually take these fights. Arbol's also going to get in here and drop the Fury of the Blood God. It should do a decent chunk of damage to all these units that are right here next to him. A little bit of work. Skull Cannon whiffing some shots, which is really unfortunate. We get a nice punish on these Empire Knights here. And let's try to get the Fleshhounds out. Khorne Gore going to be pretty necessary now. How's the Skull Cannon doing? Missing shots. And, you know, it is what it is. Any damage that we're taking, and we're just going to have to eat it, you know. We can't stop it all, right?
You have the foe's victim.
Knights of Khorne!
And we forgot about our throwing axes over here, which is very Bronzodia of me. Get these guys back. Let's get these guys over. Let's get these flesh hounds going in. And the skull cannon can actually buffer out the grenade launchers, okay. We'll use Scylla and Arball to get over there maybe too. Korngor is going to push around the flank. We'll get another Korngor out. We're dominating on the objectives right now. We're at a little bit of a value deficit. Scylla getting in here with the fleshies. Let's pull back because we got a big wave of spearmen coming in. Spread out, spread out. Try and avoid as much Searing Doom damage as possible, please. Alright, we can't get buffered out there. That's just going to be very silly on my part. Try and get over here and punish these Empire Knights that are all the way over there. My throwing axes I'm not playing very well with. That's not great. Some of these Marauders in. Marauders are going to come back here. We're going to go back. We're going to go get those guys. Some of these dudes in. Korngor's probably going to try and hold this point. These Korngor's very overextended because I'm a fool. And Scylla and Arball. We'll pop the ability here. It might actually do some pretty good damage. More Korngor's coming in. Throwing Axe is going to try and screen. You can see Arball just soaking up tons of shots and not really getting hit, which is really good for me. Knights need to get out of here. And the Korngors are just taking a pounding, but they're still ticking, which is really all I can ask, truthfully. Somehow they just, you know, hang in for just obscene amounts of time. Oh, and Rampage here on these Empire Knights. I don't think they're going to be able to get away in time. Oh, beautiful Rampage. We use the throwing axes there. They'll be able to get some good damage. We're going to scream over here. Get after these Knights of the Black Rose. And we got a ton of Free Company militia over there. How do we deal with those guys, though? Maybe some Marauders and Furies together? We're starting to fall behind really bad on the value. We just don't have the mobility to play this game at the Empire. And our expensive characters are getting work done. The problem is they are not going to be able to carry the game for me. Our Empire Knights, or our Chaos Knights, I should say, are just struggling. I'm not doing a very good job of microing them all around. There's just so much going on. We're going to collapse the infantry as best we can here. Get in there. Skull Cannon needs to get away and not get shot up. I'm going to pop our horn here. It should be pretty nice. I don't know why these guys can't get over here and engage. They're just struggling so damn hard. Let's just try and kill all these Free Company militia over here. They're very vulnerable. They're pretty squishy. I might be able to finish them all off. We got a big blob of Garbo in here. It's a nice Final Chance Mutation, but the problem with Final Chance Mutation is it just doesn't do a whole lot of damage with the Fizz Res. Or the spell resist that Khorne has. Our horsemen are struggling. We're feasting on the souls of all these Free Company over here now. Let's try and finish this unit off. We got a Rampage in a minute. We'll use the Spawn Summon here. We're just going to get the Spawn Summon out to try and clean up all these infantry. Because that should be pretty nice for me. Pretty punishing for the Empire. Scylla and Arball are really going ham here. They're very disruptive. They're causing a lot of problems. Let's go run over these guys. We'll keep chasing there. We'll bring out another Korngor because we're big, brave, and bold. Big, brave, bold, beautiful Khorne. We have no shame about using really strong, annoying units, honestly. Just try and get out of here. We'll send the spawn forward. Scylla and Arball are going to try and go karate chop this middle point. We've got a sword, but I don't have a great target for it right now. You need to get unblobbed here and send all this stuff over to go help out. Oh, we got demigriffs coming in. Let's get some stuff over there. We've got good enough mass, we might be able to escape. We're going to try and avoid this. Furies are going to land, the Chaos Knights are going to pull out, and we're going to go away. We're going to pull back over here. Let's clean these guys up. Let's get this guy away. He's pulling back now. Now we can run back in, maybe get those dudes. It is the Royal Altdorf Griffites, no less.
Brothers in bloodletting, darkness calls.
We don't have it. If we can just get a good rampage in, that would be super clutch for us. Send this tattered Korngor over. This is an absolutely ridiculously messy game. I don't think either of us is like really very practiced with these builds. We're gonna drop it there. Better than nothing. And I don't think Via's gonna catch that in time. We crush those knights. We're gonna send this stuff over. We're in this game. He's starting to recap this objective. We need to stay here with the Furies. And we'll send the Marauders back over.
Knights of Corn.
Let's use Sila and these Korngors to crush our opponent here. And Arbal's gonna pop this. Come on, Sila, I need you to get over. I need the rampage right now, dude. Oh, that's brutal. Not quite able to make it happen. Not before the Chaos Knights died, but maybe the Korngors are still going to be able to get back here and do a bunch of damage. He actually gets it off, does a decent chunk. We're going to get over. Holding on to this point barely somehow. Tons of gunfire hitting us in the face, and I forgot to click on my spawn summon in time. Not playing very clean this game, I'm going to be honest, which is not ideal. This guy's got another 6 seconds, and then we're going to use the Unbreakable on them so they don't terror out. Because the Royal Altdorf Griffites do have terror, so they could end up running away, which would be really annoying. And something I can't really afford. And then we just push up Marauders. Blood Beasts need to come in and start cleaning stuff up. We're going to just chase things down. Sila is very hard to kill and showing it in full. Korngor are going to go over to the number 3 objective over here. Although there are Free Company. But there are some Knights of the Black Rose and some Empire Knights coming out. I need a little bit of something with some staying power to get in there. We're somehow in this game. I'm honestly kind of agog that we're able to stick in here. It's just so hard for Empire to get movement against Khorne. Like, you've just got so many strong units against them. It's pretty sick. We're going to get out of here and maybe be able to save the Skull Cannon. Now, Arbal's going to get over there. He's going to hammer. Korngors are going to get up and start saving this point. We're going to shoot these Free Company and just send Arby's over there. Chase down the Free Company militia, and Sila and the Blood Beasts go to the middle point and flip that away from the Empire. And there goes the Skull Cannon. It is going to crumble out. Arby's is going to rally to the middle. We're going to unsummon there. We're going to get crap going up to the points now. Empire Knights are going to charge in here and get a little damage. But, you know, it is what it is. We can only do so much. We just don't have enough to chase down all of these damn Outriders, dude. Like, there's so many mobility tools in here. We'll pop this just to try and finish this fight, and we might be able to kill Balthazar Gelt. Because that's a big mistake landing him in here. He really cannot afford to get hammered like that. These guys are just getting blasted right now. We've got Flesh Hounds playing havoc in the backfield, which is awesome. Empire Knights coming in. Korngor is going to get an okay engagement there, though, maybe. These Fleshies need to get out. Balthazar is routing, but not going to be able to finish him. We'll use the Blood Beasts here, while Silo's going to go over and actually hit the Outriders and rampage these guys. Kill for Khorne is a really nice ability, guys. Try and use it as much as you can. One of them is running away. He's pushing back up onto this point over here. I can throw in a Fury. Like, he's just having to spend so much time shooting down these corn gores. Get up over here. Get up over there. Sila doing his thing. Somehow still alive. I mean, 1600 value on him ain't bad. Arball only up to 900. Really hadn't gotten nearly as much done. Furies are just so good against the Empire. Like, they do a lot of damage, dude. They are a very annoying unit. Get in there, bro. I need you. I need you to do it. Empire just doesn't have cap weight on the field, is the issue they're running into now. We're actually using this on a Fury unit. I kid you not. And it's actually going to do a lot of work for me. Let's get after those Outriders again. We need to just hang on to points. We can afford to skirmish a little on that other objective for now. Good charge with the Empire Knights there. That's rough. But we still have a bunch of stuff back here just being really annoying and road blocking the Empire. Get over there, roadblock here, hang on to this point, try and avoid getting hit by the grenade launchers. I think we win this just by virtue of sticking around. Move over, get over. Sila doing his thing, gonna kill for corn one last time. We somehow just out-muscled the Empire there, dude. That was just ridiculous. Oh my god. I gotta be honest, guys, I don't know how we won that game. That was just absolutely madness and shenanigans the whole way through. Look at the value on the grenade launchers. The Empire Knights were okay. You know, Balthy was fine. The Spearmen and all these guys just really didn't get much damage in. And the Altharth Griffites got flattened pretty badly, because they got rampaged into corn gores. And that was pretty much the end of them. Some of the corn gores did really well. Chaos Knights, I needed to micro better. I didn't do a very good job with them. Blood Beasts were awesome. Probably should have just brought more Blood Beasts in. They're so disruptive. They hammer the Empire Knights so well. I really thought Via was gonna wreck me when I saw that opener. I really thought the grenades were going to just blast me into smithereens, and they almost did. He did a really good job of microing those things around. I swear to God, like, I just need to bring double skull cannon every game. These things are too good. They're so annoying, especially against range factions. Like, I don't even bother with throwing axes anymore. Like, my micro on these guys is just not all that great, and people are always ready to jump on them. Like, skulls, these things keep me in so many games, I swear. They just need to be my, staple. Yeah, I like the pick sixes. I like playing in them, but I like good old SFTs too, man. Like, need some love for the people who main factions is needed. You know? I'm always down. And I haven't really been getting a lot of practice, so, you know. I've played very few tournament games this season. I was gone for the first couple weeks that the DLC was out, so I missed like the big flurry of activity since I was with family in the lead up to Christmas, and then a little bit after. And then when I got back, I was just like working on all kinds of other stuff, so you know, we've been doing lots of replays and casting, which has been really fun. But I'm really feeling the pull to like really get back in here and start practicing. Very swingy? What do you mean by that? Just like people do really well initially and then they just fall off because they're not as practiced on the other factions, or because, you know, that's kind of what I've noticed. Like, you know, either like the really good players, they're good enough that they can play their weaker factions in the first few rounds in the bracket and still beat most of the people they go up against. And then when they get to the finals or semifinals with their main factions, they just steamroll anybody who gets in their way, usually. Like, Ash on the Beastman has taken the last couple pick sixes just by using the Beastman to just completely dominate the early flow of a match and push people off objectives all game. Beastmen are so good at it. Oh, matchups are very random. Matchup against Tomb Kings. Yeah, that sounds about right. Dude, I'm telling you, Screaming Skull catapults are wildly inaccurate. They're a really cool unit. 4 against the Dowie is a little risky, but, I mean, I like bringing 1 or 2 against them. When the cannons or the catapults are actually hitting, they do a ton of damage. You just have to be very careful about where they shoot, because I've noticed that oftentimes they can end up blowing up as many of your units as the enemy's, which ends up being pretty painful. Talking to Via a little bit. I want to know what Via felt about the Outriders, because I felt like the Outriders were honestly the weaker part of the skirmish build. Like, the Empire Outriders, I've noticed, are really good against big SEs, and okay at shooting cavalry, but when it comes to shooting monstrous infantry, or, you know, mobility units, they're so inaccurate, it seems. And smaller single entities also give them trouble. I'm not sure what it is about their targeting. Wow, look at us. We've got 2 Swiss points here. You know, thankfully, because I'm undefeated in my my bye rounds, you know. Dang, what's up with Outer Region? Outer Region's kind of getting beat up today. That's crazy. I'm shocked, like genuinely shocked that Outer Region has lost 2 games. Who is he on? Oh, Zinch, that's why. Zinch is not very good right now, which is sad. I don't know what Zinch needs buffs wise, but they really do seem to be one of the worst factions in the meta right now. They just struggle so hard into so many different people. And they're down here Like, Dark Elves are very deceptive. They're way stronger than a 40% win rate. Empire, I think, is a little bit better, too. I think High Elves, Tzeentch, Bretonnia are probably the weakest factions, with Greenskins, Dark Elves, and Empire just needing their specialists to be on them to, like, really shine. Skaven are similar. You know, most of the factions that are down here with, like, a 40% or lower win rate, it's not that they're bad, it's just that they're more difficult than others to play. And people really need to be practiced with them to understand how to counter enemy builds, because they're either very limited rosters or they just have a lot of heavy lifting that they need to do. Alright. Great tournament today. Very crazy matches. We had a really close loss against the Wood Elves in round 1. And this time around, this round 2, or round 3, I guess, since we got a bye. Crazy close game against the Empire. They just didn't have enough cap weight and staying power to keep us off the points. Like, that Empire build that Via had honestly might have benefited from having a greatsword mixed in here. She got all the mobility and shooting in the world. Great swords, they're pretty decent against Khorngors. I guess they are really vulnerable to Blood Beasts, even Chaos Knights, and especially Skull Cannons. But that does mean that those units aren't, like, going after your other mobility tools then, which is pretty good. Thank you, Tom. Oh my god. Yeah, so Via said that the Outriders are good, and they can get good value, but they're expensive, and Pistoliers are just better. But that he's very weak, so of course he has to take them, which I totally understand. That's how I am with a lot of the units on Khorne's roster. Like the Heralds of Khorne's Fury, not a bad unit, but definitely a very expensive one that you need a lot of good micro to make use of, and I just can't resist the pull. Like, I just feel the call oftentimes to thrust myself into the position of bringing them. We're just going to be playing Rusto, which is going to be really rough. He's undefeated. Okay, fair enough, I guess. Alright, we need to give Navigator a Swiss point here. And get y'all away from this. He sees back-to-back wins, lol. True. Alright, what is Rusto on today? Rust is usually on Beastman. But since Beasties are banned, I'm curious what he's on. Oh, Warriors of Chaos. Oh my god, okay. Well, I've got decent counter builds to the Warriors of Chaos stuff. They are pretty one note nowadays. We'll see how this ends up playing out. With code. Doot. Let's get in here. We are on Jade Tomb also. Alright, I gotta banish y'all to the outer reaches of the galaxy once more. Just for a little bit. You'll be back, don't worry about it. You can come look at the Swiss points. Alright. We got this fella. These fellas. A lot of these fellas. What else do we need? A couple of thems. One of thems. And a bunch of these guys. Yeah, okay. If Rust is bringing what I think he will, I think we're gonna do pretty nicely here. And I think we also played Rust before where we played a match on Jade Tomb. He brought one particular unit that pretty much won him the game. I think this time around I'm a little better prepared for it. So we'll test that theory in action this time around. Alright, we'll flip back over. We're gonna see if we can kill the Soul of Damnation this game or not. Walk players and bringing the R-War Hell Cannon. Name a more iconic duo, honestly. We'll see what Lord he's going with. Probably Sartorial. I mean, the Big Chicken is an incredible fighter, as well as just super powerful in general. Good magic lore.
Chaos warriors. Marauders of Khan.
Lots and lots of marauders here. Need to get all these guys in a nice little row. To get bowling pinned by the Warriors of Chaos goodies. These guys are gonna go in group 3, actually. And the Skull Cannons are gonna go counterfire against the Soul. I brought the Exalted Bloodthirster. Pretty good fighter. Squishy to the range damage, but is a Flying Lord, so can stay away from them pretty easily with a 95 speed. Also has the breath attack, which can go in and finish off the Soul of Damnation as well. So we're really gunning for the big artillery piece if it comes out. Not really going to be worrying about much else in the opener. Warriors of Chaos could theoretically deploy some horsemen here to try and cap our number 3 objective, which if they do, it is what it is, and we'll just give it up. And we'll try and counterplay from there.
Marauders are gone! Marauders will! Act for these marauders!
Okay. Did we Gulf and Hoof? We did, okay. Alright. Getting bounced by Rusto, part 2. Continued from maybe about a month ago when it last happened. So, yeah, there it is. Who is surprised, honestly? I'm gonna get these Chaos Warriors up in the trees here. We do have Sartorial. He's cool. He's gonna do some big work, potentially.
We have a victory point.
We're gonna start shooting at the Soul of Damnation here. We're gonna run away. We can probably dodge this shot. Yeah. Actually do. Need to get away. We're gonna twirl some. Oh my god, dude. The Warriors of Chaos with the Horseman Corps. It's crazy. They're just gonna pressure us this whole game like this, I think. And Skull Cannon needs to get away. Maybe we can make something happen with the other one. We don't have enough mobility in the Soul of Damnation, as you can see. Just insanely long range shooting here. The Skull Cannon is going to come back in and try and gun this thing down. We're getting pushed off the point for free, of course. Who's surprised? I actually do hit the Soul of Damnation there, which is huge. Need to buffer out. We need to get up. Sartorial's coming in, looking to maybe do some shenanigans. Our other shot missed. If we just counterfire this thing the whole game, maybe we can actually kill it. We're missing too much. Oh my god. Please don't let this happen. We're up in the woods. We're getting our warriors forward. We're going to go back and cap our objective back up, I guess. There we go. Nice and lined up. We're going to just push some marauders forward. We actually hit it again. It's huge. We might be able to finish it off here. Let's get this Skull Cannon away. Because we're about to get Searing Doomed here. Oh, and the Hellstriders came out. Very nicely done. We're going to kill it. I'm going to try and breath attack it. Hit it again. It's taken a ton of damage. It should be finishable now. There we go. Breath attack to finish. And now we get into melee here. And just try and grind a little bit of value back. Yeah, we killed it! Oh, beautiful. Soul of Damnation dead, which is honestly a gigantic win. He's just doing, you know, horseman shenanigans. I'm gonna dive bomb here. Like, this is one of the reasons why Warriors of Chaos are so fucking annoying. They can just swarm you with a bazillion horsemen, just like the Beastmen do, which is something that Rusto is very good at. Bring up some more Corn Gores. The Warriors are going to go over to the home objective now. These Flesh Hounds need to run the fuck away. And we got our big boy actually doing some nice damage. And the Skull Cannons are going to be really hard to snipe, hopefully. We're going to dodge back and forth and do our thing and just run away, and then we're going to charge in. We're gonna punish Sartorial for landing here. One of the Skull Cannons is gonna die, but they did their job. They killed the Soul of Damnation. Which basically has put me way ahead, if you really want my honest-to-God opinion. Killing that was just absolutely gigantic. Let's get in here. We got the walk in full retreat. We're gonna line up there. We bring in the Minotaurs now. They try and get in here and do some punishments. We get back. One of the Skull Cannons is really low, but still alive. And the other one is pretty low also. But we might be able to punish here. We need to get up in the sky with the Exalted Bloodthirster before he gets absolutely pincushioned into oblivion here. We're taking the back point too, which is pretty awesome. We're just going to commit here with these guys. Actually, we're going to breath attack. Because these guys are so blobbed up. They're so vulnerable to it. Minos coming up. Minos need to stay a little back because they don't want to get pincushioned by all the jabbies. It might be alright though. Let's land on them. Try and crush them. We are slowly capping up the home objective, and those are Forsaken, which really aren't that strong. They can definitely struggle a little bit. Let's get out of here again. Let's get over to support our Exalted Bloodthirster. Just having killed the Soul of Damnation put us way up, even though we're not super far ahead on value. It's honestly not terrible. That's a fat buff here for all these units. Minos are crushing through some of these Hellstriders here. We're going to dive back in here. We're going to get in here. We're going to send these Korngors over to help the Exalted Bloodthirster. More Korngors. He's running out of ammo on all the skirmishers, which is going to make him very vulnerable to the rest of our army here. We're going to pull back now. Pull back. Pull back. Korngors going to post up. We crushed all of his Forsaken on this point. We're just going to outcap him now, maybe. Sartorial's doing alright. He's hanging in here against my big guy, but maybe we can still get some good attacks in here and finish him off. Let's pull back now and send the Korngors in. Let's unsummon all of our Marauders now. Whatever's left of them, they just need to get away. Land on the ground. He's gonna get final trans. That sucks, but you know, it is what it is. It's a really good spell. It's very punishing. It's gonna hurt a lot losing our Lord here. But we have won the ground engagements pretty hard. There goes all of our units though now, which is really sad. Outside of the Korngors, we don't have much left here. Those guys are all running. We're going to try and get up and take this point. Hellstrider's going in. Just spread these guys all out. Actually, we're going to retreat. Maybe. These Korngors are going to get unsummoned. Minotaur's doing alright. Some Bloodletters to counter Forsaken. He's got dudes capping up our point here. That's fine. We won on the middle objective. We're going to hold here. We've got lots of Korngors to hang on to it. We're still holding on to the number 2 here, which we're going to do as long as possible. Now we're going to retreat with the Marauders and try and get them away. Just hang out here. Sartorial's awesome. He's gotten a lot of value and he's done really well for himself, but is not going to be able to hold on forever. I don't want to use that there. Just want to hang on to the points. We don't need to do anything super fancy. These Blood Beasts are taking a decent amount of damage, but that's, you know, it is what it is. What am I really going to do about that? I think he's saving up for the Soul of Damnation again. But if we bring the Exalted Bloodthirster out, we might be able to hard counter it
The enemy has captured
in the
one
late
of your
game
victory
here.
points. Take it back.
Yeah, oh my god, dude. Seriously? Yeah, Soul of Damnation comes back out. Now we just have to run into combat, I guess, and do what we can here. Because we can't just sit back on our laurels and wait for this thing to just dumpster our entire army. Because that is exactly what will happen. If we get flattened, we're gonna cry. It's gonna be so gross. Big army-wide buff here, and we'll see if we can just grind this out. Do we summon in our Lord? I don't fucking think we do, honestly. He's so expensive. I think we just actually need a bunch of Marauders to come out and flood the field with cap weight. Because if he wants to sit back and shoot me all game, so be it. Like, what's he really gonna do, man? I mean, I've got some Blood Beasts. I've still got some Corn Gores here. Maybe we can even kill Big Guy. Big Bird is in danger here. He's very disruptive. If he gets surrounded by Blood Beasts, though, he might get beaten down. Terror Out goes down. We've got the Exalted dude coming in. We're just going to keep throwing out hordes of garbage. We're going to push for that. Maybe we can get them. Hellstrider's coming up. We're pretty well ahead. Just keep coming in here. We're going to get after this guy now. These Corn Gores are going to try and press the Hellstriders back. And maybe we can bring a Fury in. Maybe he's not going to be ready for a Fury going to the backfield to land on top of the Soul. Just going to beeline straight back there. He's actually shooting his own stuff up pretty badly right now. And since he used all of his magic on Final Transmutation and stuff, he doesn't have Searing Doom to punish infantry, which is perfectly fine by me. And look at these guys just escorting each other off the field. Very kind of them. Hellstriders come out to defend. Not super surprising. Lots of Marauders in here, doing their best. We're going to send a Corn Gore over there, and the Blood Beasts and the Bloodletters are going to go running after this stuff. We're just going to threaten the Soul of Damnation. We might not ever get to land on it, but I think just doing that is going to be well worth the price that we're paying. We're going to bring out some Fleshies. We're going to go run stuff down. We're going to get over here. He's kind of abandoned the Soul. There's just too much for him to get through, maybe. That's going to be the saving grace here. And we do actually get on top of the Soul of Damnation. I think we're going to kill it here. The Corn Gores and these Marauders are holding up well enough against the Hellstriders. And I think literally just countering the Soul of Damnation is how you beat the Warriors of Chaos's Corn. What are they going to do? Like, it's 1,555 gold or whatever. It's crazy expensive. If you can kill it before it gets its value back, when you unsummon it, it does not really get anything done. So this is pretty awesome. It's not shooting now. I'm going to buff these guys up just to try and finish this thing here. I think my opponent is just, like, so desperate at this stage of the game. Bloodletter's going to hang out here. We were going to take his home objective in a minute. We're going to get in here. Throw some more Corn Gores in. Ah! Sorry, guys. I'm getting a little bit, getting a little unhinged here at the end of the stream. Oh my god, dude. Oh, I'm so glad I found a counter to the Soul of Damnation, because I'm so tired of it farming my entire army up. It's exhausting to play against. So, being able to beat that build is a big win for me. And his Forsaken didn't really get a lot done. They got pounded down pretty badly. They struggled into the Corn Gores, honestly. Especially when Corn Gores can get Horn or something, they do so much damage against the Forsaken Core. That's a big win, because Rusto was unbeaten there. I don't know if that's going to get me into the top 4, but it might actually get me kind of close. Oh, I gotta report my game, of course. I played a little rough at the beginning, but rallying back and protecting my cannons, and then bringing them forward to shoot down the Soul of Damnation, easily got me that game. Okay, guys. Good grief. Oh. Who's still playing right now? Is there any chance for me? I mean, I'm here with 3 wins. The problem, of course, weak op points, because I got a bye round. Did Via win or lose? Or is Via still in game? Damn. Pizu got him. Well done, Pizu. Very well done. But you ruined my op points. Oh man, Ghost King got 2 bye rounds. That's so brutal. I see what you mean now, Ghost King. Tell me next time you get double bye rounds, I can set it up so that you are actually in a game and somebody else has a bye round next time. I don't like people getting double bye rounds in my tournaments. If I catch it, I'll change it myself, but if you let me know, I will always make it my priority to get you a match. That way you aren't just sitting around the whole time. Yeah, good job getting Via, man. Via's Empire is really good, but definitely one where, I don't know if Via is super practiced on the Empire. Yeah, I'm sorry, Ninja. What times are you free? I can maybe set up a tournament and we can get you in one. Because I'm pretty flexible on what times I'm available. I'm pretty lucky in that regard. Dumpcock and Lahoot are playing Ash Solo Spaghetto in game, Attack Speed and Boss Toss, and Poison and Eric the Horrendous. Another Corn player. How's Eric been doing? Pretty good, it looks like. Where is Eric? Oh, never mind. Hasn't gotten any done for me. Tuesdays, Wednesdays after 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. It's not that late. That's, what? That's 8 o'clock here on the East Coast. I can host late night tournaments. I've done that a few times. probably wouldn't, you know, we can, I can look into maybe hosting a tournament sometime on one of those days. And in fact, maybe I can do another one tomorrow. I'll need to see what I've got planned for then. But if I can, I'll maybe host another tournament tomorrow, around that time. Yeah, for Europe it's late. That's what I was saying. We probably won't get many people from the other side of the pond into the tournament. But, you know, having a nice big super regional, we can call it, wouldn't be a bad idea. This was a fun tournament, man. Exalted Bloodthirster got a little time to shine. Arbol, he got to shine some. Valkia had a close loss in the first game. You know what I probably should have brought against the Sisters of Twilight? Is, actually, you know what? Never mind. That's not going to work at all. Normal weeks? Okay, cool. Maybe Skull Taker on the Blood Throne is a good call. And you bring him as cheap as possible with just Cloak, and you hide him in those trees on the middle of the map that we were on in round 1. Because Valkia was flying around in those trees for a while, and was getting shielded pretty nicely by them. I think if I had just had some more Furies to help her out, and played a little more together with my army, I could have won that first round against the Wood Elves. So I was a little too loose with my formation. I was playing all over the battlefield when I really should have just been focusing on holding down the middle objective and the one flank objective I had. You know, another thing I'm happy with is that we got 2 wins and we didn't have to bring any Wrathmongers to do it. Like, this unit is insane. You know? People are geared up for this. They're, like, absolutely frothing at the mouth to try and gun down the Bloodwake Berserkers nowadays. So if you just don't bring them, and you know what you're doing with the rest of the army, you can really trip people up nowadays. Alright. There's one game left, but it's not one that's going to massively affect the tiebreakers. So I'll flip y'all over here, and we can just take a little gander at the top 4 as it stands. We've got Boss Toss here, undefeated on Kislev, which is really impressive. They're much weaker now. Still a good faction, though, and Boss a top-tier player, and really showing off the stuff. Played a very scrappy game against Orange Pest earlier, who did end up with 2 wins, which isn't bad at all. Navigator up here, undefeated also, did have a bye round, but winning all the other games still. Very well done. Rust and Berserk going to round out the top 4. Although, oh, actually, maybe we need to do another round. Look how many people have the, have 9 op points here. Damn, okay, I need to come into tournament chat here and talk with people about this. Does Solo have too many points? Yeah, let's start unraveling this string now before it gets way out of hand. Alright, give me a minute, guys. I'm adminning. We did have... Oh, Solo's opponent dropped in round 2. That's why I think they got an extra point. Okay, so we are going to have to come in here and adjust this. Solo lost in round 1 to Rusto. They won in round 2. Where are they in round 3? Losing to Navigator, so they do have 2 losses and 2 wins because they beat Ash, so we'll adjust that real quick. A 4-way free-for-all for 3rd and 4th would be so out of pocket. Oh, no. Don't tempt me, Tom. It's not... I didn't put that in the rules. But next time we have a tiebreaker, I'm going to actually maybe put that in, that's how we're going to resolve it. The only reason I'm not going to do it this time is because I already said that tiebreakers will be Duel of Fates or extra round, depending on how many people there are tied up. Alright, so Solo, I've got to drop down a tick, and we'll see how this shakes everything up. Oh my god, we've still got a 3-way tie. Alright, so boss is dropping anyways. So how's that going to affect things? That means Navi, Rusto, VM Berserk, and attack speed all guaranteed an N. No, the last round doesn't, because they both were down here with no wins, so I don't think it does. I have no idea what's going on with that game either, because they've been stuck on it for a while now. So they might not even be in-game. If they are, it's well past time that they should be finished. Everybody else has been done for a while now. So I'm not counting on that. And we're going to move on as if it doesn't even exist. we're going to have an absolutely unhinged FFA to determine the last two spots. You know what? Oh my goodness. Do we dare? You know what? We need to make a decision. We're gonna do it. I'm gonna actually host a three-way FFA to determine the last two spots of top four. It is gonna just be what it is. Goodness, dude. Oh, okay. Another spec slot, maybe, hopefully this doesn't just obliterate, everything. Alright, this is gonna be really chaotic. I don't know how this is gonna go, man. Oh my god. Oh, we also got resolution on what's going on with Eric and Poison. They're just lagging out like crazy. So they can play through the game if they want to, but we're not counting on that being done anytime soon. And we're moving on from here. Pray for no lag with 3 players and 2 spectators. Yeah. This could get rough, potentially. I've gotten no word from Berserk. I don't know where Berserk is gone, dude. Like, just has vanished from the face of the earth, seemingly. We got all this hype for free for all here. Where is he gone? No. Yeah, we're not gonna wait for people if they're not responding at all, so I'm determined to get FFA just to determine it, because I don't know what's going on with Berserk. Berserk should be in this, but we're still gonna do this freaking FFA for the last 2 spots. Oh, well, Duel of Fates, then. Alright, let's sort this out. So it might just be a Duel of Fates between attack speed and Tom, I mean. I don't know where Berserk is gone. Berserk has just disappeared on us. I don't even know what to say. Like, is he even present? Is he alive? Is he dead? No semis or finals, just an FFA. Maybe we'll do that sometime. We'll do that another day. All right, well, I'm just gonna advance top 4 as I see fit. Then Berserk is not gonna be in our top 4. I don't know where Berserk has gone. We've been waiting here for long enough, and I would really like to get this moving along. Okay. I'm a little sad we don't get to see the FFA. Let's see what the top 4 looks like. We are going to change this. We are still on that, so it won't show people's info. Alright, just letting everyone know, and we'll get it situated real quick here. It shouldn't take too long. Just need to get people's names all situated in here so that we've actually got some matches set to go. There's 2 Wood Elf players in the top 4 here now. Boss, attack speed. Boom. Here we go. Okay, sweet. So, we're gonna actually get this rolling here. I haven't heard a thing from Berserk this entire time. Like, no input, absolutely no interest in communicating, so, I mean, I'm just gonna assume that he's not even here and just move on. Alright, thank you for bearing with me, guys. It's been a little bit chaotic trying to sort this out because we had our top person drop, and then we had a big tie, and then we had to sort out who all actually won games because of people dropping and extra points. And then we had people not showing up for our FFA idea, which I actually thought was a really cool idea. So now we've got it all figured out, and we'll be getting into the finals, or the semis, here, and then we'll get into the finals right after that, of course. So, my goodness. Stressful. I'm saying. Hosting these tournaments sometimes, dude. Okay. Here we go. Get away from here. That way they can pick their armies. Wood Elves versus Chaos Dwarves is a lot less bad for the Wood Elves than you would think. They're actually pretty good at shutting trains down. And they've got good tools for crushing the heavy infantry that the Chaos Dwarves rely on. And they've got very strong bows in the skirmish game to counter the Wolf Raiders. So even though the Chaos Dowie have a lot of fire damage, and they have a decent amount of magic damage, it's honestly pretty even. Like, a really good Wood Elf player is going to be able to scrap pretty cleanly with the Chaos Dwarves. We'll actually maneuver over to the stats real quick, and I'll flip y'all over for a moment. Just show it off. Dude, here it is. So you can see Chaos Dowie have some pretty good matchups right now. I mean, especially against the Dark Elves, it seems. Which does make a lot of sense. You've got some very strong artillery that can shut down their Dark Shards and other units. But this is the Wood Elves versus Chaos Dowie matchup as it stands right now, how it's played out. A little bit of an edge on the Chaos Dowie. Which is, you know, it makes sense. They probably are slightly advantaged, but it's probably not more than like a 55-45 matchup, in my opinion. Wood Elves, honestly, I wouldn't even say that the Wood Elves have that many bad matchups, like Norska, Kislev, Bretonnia, and Ogre Kingdoms. Ogre Kingdoms especially makes sense. But these three, really rough. Warriors of Chaos is kind of hard, as well as Khorne. There's tools against Khorne, though. Wood Elves are pretty even with everybody, I would say. I don't think there's any matchups other than the bottom three there that are, like, truly abysmal for them. Alright. We're swapping over here. We've got Drazhoath the Ashen coming out, and a Glade Lord on the other side. Looks like a Reindeer Cav Glade Lord. Prey of Anath Rama is going to be a really good spell to punish with all the strong missiles that the Wood Elves have access to. And then also just to lock stuff in place and engage it in melee combat. It's not a bad idea. There's a lot of shields for the Chaos Warriors, though. They're going very heavy into the infantry. Which is definitely a little bit of a risk. Wild Riders are really good at clearing out crappy infantry. They have such good shock damage. They might come out and just absolutely feast on this Chaos Dwarf army if they're not careful. And Goblin Laborers have low enough leadership that a couple of volleys from Glade Guard is usually enough to half their health. And then they just run the rest of the game, and they're not really functional at that point. So, I mean, just a tide of Chowie warriors, man. And Drazhoath's going to be really cool to see in action. Has Flames of Asgore. Dark Renown, very good buff and a radius around him. Demon's Might Crucible for the Spell Mastery, which is going to punish very hard with Flames of Asgore getting absolutely sauced up by that 60% increase to its damage. And he's good against Drycha. Anti-infantry profile, doesn't have a lot of AP, but Drycha's pretty low armor. You see her in most matchups for the Wood Elves. Drazhoath's not going to do well against the Glade Lord, though. Is on the reindeer here, as you can see, looking majestic as hell, dude. And he doesn't have a shield, from what I recall. No, he doesn't. Good armor values, but just slow and steady damage from the missile on the Glade Lord should get him in the danger zone. And then the good AP values and amazing stats on this Cavalry Lord. He's probably going to be able to beat Drazhoath if he gets caught out, which is going to be risky. It's going to be hard to snipe him, but it's also not impossible, and he's going to be very vulnerable. Alright, so they're just setting up the armies. I mean, they've got a lot to juggle here. And we are going to kick it off and get it rolling now. We've got just tides of goblins, hobgoblin cutthroats. Blazing Beards of Basharik are a really good unit against the dryads. Even against Eternal Guard, those blasting charges are really punishing. If you're very good with your micro on the Blazing Beards, you can kill like 2 dryads effectively just with the blasting charges because of how much damage they do. On the Wood Elf side, they cap the number 3 up early, number 2 is taken, and the number 1, so a triple cap early for the Wood Elves. And they should definitely just play for time and points early on. They don't need to do anything too fancy here. And the Hobgoblin Cutthroat line with these Goblin Laborers is going to be very squishy here. They're very low armor and leadership. Good focus fire and some charges with some good flanks or a Wild Rider should be enough to push those guys back. Glade Lord looking to get in here, a little risky running around on the front line like this, but there's no missiles from the Chaos Dwarves early on. They've just got some Infernal Ironsworn waddling out of the reinforcements here. The Wood Elves, it looks like they just brought out some more Dryads. 1 Dryad and I think the Spellsinger was in the opening. So banking up more supplies, so just an extra Dryad it looks like. Good missile fire just crushing through the Hobgoblins who are taking massive damage and casualties early on. Wood Elves hanging on to the number 2 over there, or the number 1. Number 2 is taken by the Chaos Dowie. A beautiful side shot with the Arrow of Kurnus. That's how you use it against infantry. Beautiful damage on those guys. Takes a chunk out of them. 31 models go down immediately. And the Chaos Dowie do flip to number 3, but they are behind a decent amount on the tickets early. Dryads crushing through the Goblin Laborers. Very strong Wood Elf position on this side of the field. The Chaos Dwarves don't need to play into this. They should just keep their units back here and just focus on stuffing any pushes out with the shot blocker and terrain here. Making it very difficult for the Wood Elves to maneuver their forces around. Like, they're going to have to pull all the way around this side if the Dowie just focus on kind of stiffening up their line here, forming a little bit of a brick wall. And they can't really push through the trees either because there's just so many units on the field. Glade Riders and the Iron Demon having a little bit of a duel through the trees here. Getting a decent amount of damage on this thing. You know, it's a great unit. But it's definitely going to suffer if it gets locked down by the Glade Lord and beaten up in combat, because it's very weak in melee. And you do see Pravenoth Rema going down, the strong stats and good AP on the Reindeer here. Probably going to be able to crush through the Iron Demon, and it might get surrounded too by the Wild Riders, who should also be able to do some good damage to it. Very good start for the Wood Elves. They're pushing down a lot of the Chaos Dwarves. You know, they've taken a decent chunk out of this unit. They've done some damage to all these Hobgoblins. The Iron Demons are going to be a little annoying, but this one over here is just getting absolutely wrecked right now. And it looks like an Earthblood from the Spellsinger going down just to heal up the Wild Riders a little bit there. Full retreat, and the Wood Elves should definitely get a little more active, I think. I would peel a couple of these Dryads over to push this objective down, because there's really not much holding it outside of the Iron Demons and the Warriors. Like, the Hobgoblin Cutthroats are all going to be pretty easy to get through, and the Goblin Laborers are a pretty non-existent unit in terms of the damage that they do. Glade Lord is just feasting on the Iron Demons right now. Just big damage on both of them so far. Down to half health on this one. This one's lost about 20%. Wildwood Rangers looking to move up. And they'll hit pretty damn hard. Chaos Dwarves really eating it, but Silver Shields are mitigating most of the missile fire. It's taken a lot of shots for the Glade Guard to get through this unit. But Tom seems pretty happy to contentedly sit there and try to make that happen. And the Wild Riders take some pretty serious damage getting into the Iron Demons. Iron Demons are pretty good with the collision damage, even against Cav. But you can see here, they're taking a little bit of poke. And the Wood Elves are just going to keep compounding on their lead as long as they're, like, doing damage to the really high-value stuff. They don't want to spend too much time fighting the Hobgoblins, especially with the Wild Riders getting as beat up as they are. But there is healing magic, so the Wild Riders, they've lost a decent chunk of their HP, but an Earthblood should get them back up to a fairly reasonable amount of health. Oh, and we got the Wildwood Rangers getting in here. They're getting a little overwhelmed, but Dryads do collapse onto all of the chaff here of Navi. Good grief, these trains, dude. Iron Demons are kind of wild in how much damage they do on the collision attacks. You can see here the retreat coming in for the Wood Elves, a really good Earthblood, though. Should heal up most of these units here. You can see Navi getting right back in this game. Lots of missiles going down. Blazing Beards of Bashir did push up out of the trees. Probably looking to drop some blasting charges on the Dryads, but take a lot of missile fire on the retreat there. And the Dryads collapsing on Hobgoblin Cutthroats. These Dryads should move into combat now, too. Even if they are fighting the Chaos Dwarves, they'll still do okay. And then you can kind of push around behind with some of the other units and maybe crush that middle position while the Iron Demons are occupied here on the flank. Down goes one train. Another over here, it's gotten okay value. I'm not sure what the other one was up to. Probably a decent amount itself. It is grinding on top of these Wildwood Rangers pretty well. Did some damage to these Dryads and all the Wild Riders and Hagbane Tips and Glade Riders and such. So not a bad situation at all. Beautiful Flames of Asgore hidden by the trees is going to delete all of those cavalry. Oh, that's devastating. Disgusting amount of damage going down there on the Glade Riders. Losing a lot of those cav. Lots of models dead, but an Earthblood does go down. Maybe going to salvage them. But it does give Navi a little bit of a lead here. He's doing really well, honestly. Oh, Lost Sylvan Knights coming up. Terror-causing, armor-piercing, frostbite, all the goodies in the world on it. Oh, and these are the Hashut's Dark Ravagers, man. Hashut's Dark Ravager is going to lose this fight pretty damn hard. They are not amazing against large targets. They are an anti-infantry unit. They do have a missile on them that's pretty devastating, does big damage, but being locked in this combat with all these Wild Riders and such, it's not going to be great for them. But Infernal Ironsworn underfoot. Oh, they're going to chew the Lost Sylvan Knights apart, man. They do have magical attacks and good melee attack here. Draz Hoeth's hanging in also. Lost Sylvan Knights need to get out of here before this Flames of Asgore deletes them. They are going to be in full retreat here, but they get stopped up. Their momentum falls apart, and Flames of Asgore comes down and just ices the cake on these guys. Oh my goodness. Oh, Wood Elves crushed on the number 3 objective here. Draz Hoeth with the Flames of Asgore. How much value? 1,000 value doesn't seem all that much. But killing all those Glade Riders and also the Lost Sylvan Knights, even though it wasn't a ton of value, still pretty devastating because it's really given the Chowie a lot of time here on the number 3 to grind this back. And they still have some Infernal Ironsworn here. Train is in the back line being dealt with by the Glade Lord. Finally, taking forever to finish off, though. The Wood Elves, what is going on across the rest of the battlefield? Wood Elves are kind of losing a lot of their points. The Infernal Ironsworn are doing a lot of good work here, man. Such a stalwart unit. A lot of the cheap hobgoblins and such have been dealt with pretty effectively. Blazing Beards of Basharak hanging in over there as well. Wild Hunters of Kurnus out on the field. Definitely need to be careful, though. Tom is kind of behind now. Definitely in the value game, but also going to start falling behind really badly, being triple capped here. Not really able to find the right engagements, and the Infernal Ironsworn have really tripped Tom up, I think. You don't see these guys in a lot of matchups, but this is definitely one where they can shine through quite capably. They've just got such good stats. Blasting charges on top of it all to crush through the infantry, and even against Glade Riders, if they just get within that 70 meters, they'll do tons of damage to these guys. They've been really nice this game here. Few of the Lost Sylvan Knights hanging in, looking to get some work done. Wild Hunters of Kurnus with some decent value. Gonna get a nice flank here. Oh, this could be punishing for the Chaos Dwarves. They don't have a lot in reserve right now. Not a lot of supplies. Tom needs to rally all the forces up on the other side of the battlefield here, away from the train. Iron Demon has come back out. You just see lots of Iron Demons come in, oftentimes in the later stages of matches from the Chaos Dowie. Losing some of the Cutthroats and the Goblin Laborers. But the Chaos Dowie here, they're still anchoring. They haven't value traded well. But just being a presence on this objective is really nice in its own way. On the Iron Demon screaming across, definitely need something to shut that down. Wild Hunters of Kurnus have a decent chunk of HP. They could definitely make it happen, and look at Draz Hoeth over here, dude. Standing with the Infernal Ironsworn and just going after the Glade Lord. You know, I thought the Glade Lord would really beat up on the Ashen one here. But he's actually able to anchor on top of this elite infantry with 3,000 value almost. Oh my god. No answer for the Infernal Ironsworn is ruining Tom's day here. I'm not sure what you bring against these guys. That's a tough one. Maybe you do need a Waywatcher in reserve, just to like try and flank around them, shoot into them, and do big damage that way. Because Wildwood Rangers aren't even going to be very good against Infernal Ironsworn, because, like I said, melee defense is off the charts on them. You can see here, the melee attack is decent on Wildwood Rangers, but even with the buff, with terror-causing units around them, it's only up to 50, and their bonus versus infantry adds on another 10. It's still not enough to get through that 68 melee defense, man. Wild Riders charging Infernal Ironsworn. Big mistake here. Tom looking a little desperate. Definitely doesn't want to be grinding in against these guys. I mean, again, magic damage. Physical resist is really the saving grace of Wild Riders. Otherwise, they're pretty squishy. You can see they're really struggling, and damn, dude, look at that freaking Flames of Asgore punishing that blob horrendously. Down goes the Glade Lord too, and that's going to be game. Chaos Dowie looking damn strong. With some interesting options for infantry, man. It's going heavy into the infantry. And the Iron Demons got great value. They were decent. The Chaos Dowie Warriors were pretty bad. They didn't get a lot done. Hobgoblin Laborers didn't get much work done. Draz Hoeth with 3,300 value. With the Flames of Asgore fighting the Glade Lord. Infernal Ironsworn 1,400 there, paying for itself and doubling up on value and more on this one here with 2,900 value. Filthy stuff, dude. Tom not ready for the smoke here from the Chaos Dwarves. Dominating win. So, okay. Well, trains just don't take damage. They're pretty crazy. They're hard to counter in melee. Way Watchers are usually what I see people use against them. But Way Watchers come at their own risks, of course. That was really rough, Tom. I'm so sorry. Honestly, ignoring the trains as much as possible might be the better strategy. And maybe a Dragon Lord to hound them down isn't an awful option. Sisters of Twilight, maybe? They're pretty good with their missiles. Their missiles are AP at least. And they also have the Eagle Quiver. Trying to charge them with Wild Riders and stuff and locking them in combat is really risky, and Navigator was ready with the Flames of Asgore. Punished you several times for your efforts at trying to, like, break positions, which is pretty impressive to watch, honestly. Oh, are we waiting? Okay. Dang. Cool. So we're getting into the other side of bracket, too. We'll get that other semis match going. I guess you would know, Tom. Just in my experience, all the games I've watched of Wood Elves versus Chaos Dwarves, Wood Elves have won most of those games. But that could just be people who aren't nearly as experienced on the Chaos Dowie. So, I can totally understand. Cool, and we're actually going to watch the other semifinals match here. They were actually waiting on me, which is really kind of them. Fully surrounded, just slide away, kill the enemy unit, and run. That's true. I think it's just the collision damage that the trains give. But, you know what? Sometime we will, get in there and figure it out. Oh, y'all did already play. Never mind. So we're just in finals then. Okay. Finals it is. Hey, attack speed, did you get dunked on by the, Soul of Damnation? I'm guessing that's what happened. Either that or it was just, like, swarms of Hellstriders, killing all your mobility. You're gonna have to let me know what happened. Because it's a rough matchup for the Wood Elves. It really is. That is definitely one of them that is more favorable for the other side. We'll give them time to select their factions here at the end. We'll flip away, and let's go take a look at this matchup, because, I mean, both sides have access to Soul of Damnation here, which is, you know, obviously an incredible artillery piece. Warriors of Chaos with a pretty big edge right now on Chaos Dwarves. It's not a ton of games, but 5 and 3 is still pretty dominating. And Chaos Dowie are, you know, like right here below the Warriors of Chaos in terms of win rate with a lot of games played. Just a few shy of the Chaos Warriors, about a 20-game difference. So it's pretty representative. Oh, yeah. Yeah, see, I feel like the Sisters of Thorn against Khorne is definitely going to work a lot better than against Warriors of Chaos, just because Khorne doesn't have a lot of magic to punish with. Not a lot of range either. So you kind of have to eat the melee reflection from Shield of Thorns. But Warriors of Chaos, with all of their Burning Heads and other goodies, I can definitely see how that gets a little difficult to get that build online and rolling. Yeah, I was a little too, I was a little lackluster with my Micro and Valkia in our first game. I was coming in very cold. But I would love to rematch you sometime in another tournament, and we can see if I can rally up the build and do a little better. But you played it so well. Like, I'm always surprised by how strong Shield of Thorns is with the melee reflection. Especially on all the squishy armor that Wood Elves have. It's a really nice bait. Okay, sounds good, man. Oh my god, what is this? So, Death Shrieker on Navigator's side here. Gonna be pretty good against, I don't know, honestly, not gonna be great against aspiring champions. I mean, maybe the single rocket, the Demolisher rocket, or Demolition rocket, or whatever it's called. Might be able to pick models off. So he's just going to be able to avoid most of the shots, and you can dodge the spread shot, the airburst mortar, pretty easily because it has such a big winding arc and it doesn't track at all. If you just move stuff out of the way, oftentimes you'll be able to just dodge it. Oh, that's right. I didn't flip over. There you go. Now we can see. Okay. My bad, guys. Thank you for letting me know. Aspiring champions. 3 of them in the front line. 2 Marauder great weapons. Sartorial in the sky. 2 Marauder horsemen here. 2 looking to grab the number 2 objective. And then you just got fat lines of hobgoblins. Chaos Dwarf warriors. Some bows. Death Shrieker, Rocket here, and the Iron Demon with the Bale Taurus character, who is pretty much, you know, a mainstay, especially against Chaos. Just because they've got the, they've got breath attacks, they've got good magical lures. Chalice of Blood and Darkness is really strong at healing the Bale Taurus character up. It's got a little bit of a cooldown on it of 90 seconds. Oftentimes what people do is they just bring one really big spell that they try to cast and get as much effective value out of, so that they circumvent the healing from Chalice, rather than just trying to cast tons of spells and healing that guy up a whole bunch. There's a little give and take to it. These Bale Taurus characters are not invincible, and they really are pretty reliant, the Chaos Dowie are, on these guys carrying the game for them if they're out on the field. We'll see if Navi's able to make it happen. Pretty small armies on both sides. Curious to see how the aspiring champions do. Honestly, I wouldn't have expected to see these guys. I mean, I guess they're just really good for holding points. And maybe their big HP pool on the small number of models means that the Iron Demon's not going to be able to flatten them as easily. Because the issue with Marauders is they get terrified the second they start taking damage from the demons. And it starts to stack up really badly in your phone. It takes out 2 models. I think that Rusto isn't going to care too much about that, and is going to pull out now that the Wolf Raiders are moving over and the objective is capped up. Number 1 taken 2. Little bit of a value or a ticket lead for the Warriors of Chaos in the early going here. Sartorial staying back, very smart, not looking to get in range of the Death Shriek just yet. Once he does, though, as long as he's able to, like, move back and forth and get the Demo Rocket, like, wobbling a little in the air, should be relatively easy to dodge. It's not nearly as good at shooting aerial targets as it is at hitting stuff that's actually, like, locked on the ground. You can see, there goes a nice big arcing shot. Look at the beautiful skybox, dude. Changer's Madhouse is so aesthetic. It's beautiful. It's probably one of the prettiest maps in the game. So Arthuriel actually eats it there, but it doesn't get through his shield. He's just going to back and wait for the barrier to regen now. Definitely the right call. Horseman looking to shoot the Baltor's character. Baltor's characters only have 70 armor, so they can be pretty squishy, and a good Plague of Rust takes him down to 1 armor. Lowering it by 69, very nice. Not a Warhammer turning if there's not lag. That's very true. I don't know why it's lagging here for y'all. It's a little odd, because it's not on my end. I have no idea. I'm not having any problems. I'll have to check on that after the stream. Maybe there's some other issue. So Arthuriel dodges a demo rocket. Does a very good job of avoiding it. And the Blazing Beards of Basharik do waddle into combat against the aspiring champions. Baltor is trying to help him out. This should be a pretty even fight. I mean, stats-wise, they're pretty equivalent. Blazing Beards are a little bit stronger with the melee attack because of their frenzy. And a little bit more melee defense. Another demo rocket being missed here, and the Iron Demon doing what it was trying to do against the Wood Elves, but Sarthoriel is going to punish this much better. He's a much better duelist. He's got Final Transmutation, great armor-piercing values with the Overshield, so it's a little bit less likely. He just takes random damage from the collision attacks. Beautiful demo rocket shot, but again, he's only taken 8 damage on his actual HP. Most of that is just trying to get through his barrier. And we are hounding over here with the Horseman. This could be a very dead Iron Demon here, but Rusto does need to help in the middle some. Lots of casualties on the Marauders. They're getting beaten up pretty damn bad. Aspiring Champions also losing out here, just because the Baltor's character is here, doing some good damage to them in return. Soul of Damnation waddles out onto the field. Are we going to see an Artillery Duel of Fates? It doesn't really look like it. So Thoriel jumps back up in the air. Iron Demon pushed back. Hobgoblin Wolf Raiders getting a little bit of bowfire in on Sarthoriel. And the Demo Rocket, we'll keep an eye on it if it actually connects with this guy. He's very vulnerable now without the shield. Dodges, very nicely done by Rusto, not giving any opportunities for that to get value there. And the Soul of Damnation gets a great shot in return on the Iron Demon, but should probably switch to the Dark Ravagers. There's not a lot of answers to these guys right now. They're going to grind through the Aspiring Champions, dude. Like I said last game, anti-infantry unit, big armor-piercing values too, and decent melee attacks, so they're just going to absolutely crush the Aspiring Champions here, who are having a really bad day. Chaos Gods are going to be very disappointed in these guys. One Iron Demon being jumped on back here. Oh, with some Hellstriders, very sneaky. Final Transmutation goes down, and the Sorcerer Prophet of Metal wanders into the radius of it as well. Oh, but gets one off in return, and Sarthoriel is on the run. Baltorus lockstep behind him, but it's not going to be a big issue for Sarthoriel. The Demo Rocket misses, or maybe clips him. I don't know what's going on there. It looks like he's taking damage. Maybe they fixed aerial combat a little bit, or maybe it's just the pistol, but Sarthoriel takes a lot of damage in there. And Navi getting up pretty nice in the value right now. Iron Demon still alive with 400 or 1200 HP. The other one did go down. Hellstriders look like they finished it off, but Granite Guard come out and punish the Hellstriders in return. One last Plague of Rust going down on this thing should put it on death's door, and it does get gunned down unceremoniously. But the Aspiring Champion Corps was not able to hold the middle objective. They got absolutely run over by the Hashed's Dark Ravagers here. We do have a retreat coming in from the Marauder Horsemen. Sarthoriel has done okay. He's only got about 400 value, though. He's just not finding a lot of opportunities to land in here and do a lot of damage. And we do have another Chalice of Blood and Darkness, getting this guy basically up to full health. Hellstriders do come in and jump all over the Hobgoblin Wolf Raiders here. Definitely need to look to get after the Hashed's Dark Ravagers, who are definitely very vulnerable in the back here. They're a little split from the infantry. There's not a lot of mobility to help them out either. And the Granite Guard are going to get a great volley off if Rusto isn't very careful here. And they are devastating with the damage that they do. And they fire really fast for a blunderbuss unit. Every 7 seconds is crazy quick firing. You know, that is the power of the missiles for a lot of the Chaos Dowie units. The Infernal Guard with the Fire Glaives also fire pretty quickly as well. Beautiful final transmutation, gets big damage on the Sorcerer Prophet. Good shot from the Soul of Damnation, but it just whiffs over the top of this unit. And the Hellstriders push into the back line. Maybe looking to kill the Death Shriek rocket launcher, which is still firing. Hasn't done a whole lot. It's keeping Sartorial very honest, though, and he's really struggling to get anything done and impact the front line at all. Not a lot of infantry here. Soul of Damnation looking to finish off the Granite Guard, who do get a good volley off. Punish the Hellstriders a little bit, but they eat a really nasty shot, take a bunch of casualties. Lots of HP lost on those guys. Sartorial finally finding an opportunity to land into combat. Gonna try and finish off the Blazing Beards of Basharik here. Hashut Stark Ravagers definitely need to be careful. They're taking a lot of damage from the poke from the Horsemen. Now the Hellstriders are getting on top of them. Good support from Sartorial could be incoming. He could drop a Plague of Rust just to get all the armor off these guys and leave the Hellstriders in a position to maybe finish this very expensive unit. Rusto has taken a value lead back. Was down pretty big for a moment there, but a second wind incoming, and thanks to the Soul of Damnation doing big damage to both the artillery and the Granite Guard, might be able to start grabbing some objectives back. Is down on the tickets pretty badly. Not unmanageable, though. It's not triple cap territory yet. Soul of Damnation is shooting at the Death Shrieker, which I don't think is a very worthwhile target currently. I think the Granite Guard are a much more dangerous unit on the field right now. Hashut Stark Ravagers hanging in. They've gotten a lot of value just from killing all the Aspiring Champions earlier, probably. But they've also got those missiles still. And they've got 13 models left, despite not having a ton of HP. They can definitely punish the Forsaken and double Iron Demon back out on the field. Gonna be running over these Forsaken, man. Doing big damage. Hellstriders find their way onto the Deathshriek rocket launcher. Maybe just the 17 of them are going to be able to finish that thing off. It is routing, which is pretty devastating. Sartorial goes down. Actually gets iced somehow. I'm not 100% sure what killed him. The Baltorus character must have caught him out with a final transmutation and a little bit of damage there. Devastating for Rusto. Losing your Lord against the Chowie, never a good situation. They've got lots of sources of terror that are pretty inexpensive with the Iron Demons. And the Baltorus character also has it. It's really gross, man. The Dowie might be able to run away with the game now. You can see a full retreat coming in from the Marauders. Just fleeing in absolute terror and agony away from these Chowie trains. Very inaccurate shot from the Soul. Soul of Damnation needs to be shooting the Granite Guard, honestly. And yeah, the Death Shrieker didn't do too much. Mostly just focusing Sartorial. It got a few shots in where it actually landed, but really wasn't all that devastating. And you can see, man, Iron Demons are just going to push the Chaos Warriors into their deploy zone. Might even be able to kill the Soul of Damnation if they just drive onto it now. There's really not a lot to protect it. Sorcerer Prophet with 2,700 value, very much carrying this game. Doing everything that's needed of them. Gonna be rallying over. Trying to get after the Horsemasters, maybe. Horsemasters are damn good. Much better than your standard Marauder Horsemen. They got more range and much better damage output. But if they're getting charged down by a really elite unit like this, especially with their Lord being off the field, they're going to break pretty quickly. They are not going to be able to hold that much longer here. And they do actually lose the nerve. They are on the run. Hashut Stark Ravagers is going to go down here. But value trading against the Marauders on the way out and are going to end up with about 2,500 value. They cost 1,900, so you'd need a damn good performance like that if you want them to get much value. Iron Demon just flattening the Soul of Damnation crew, and there's just nothing here to save it. No Hellstriders, all Marauders, Horsemen for the most part. And they're going to get killed by the collision damage that the Iron Demon does, too. When it pops more power and just charges through Cav like this, it actually does some pretty appreciable damage to these things. But they do have it completely surrounded. As long as they don't tear right away from it, they might be able to keep it locked back here for a long time. It is getting to triple cap territory. Hobgoblin Cutthroats with Infernal Guard great weapons here. Gonna lock this point down and be a pretty immovable bulwark for the Chaos Dally. Chowie Warriors with some Hobgoblin Cutthroats, Granite Guard. A few models left. 35 out of 80 is still enough for the blunderbusses to get some great damage over time. Might be able to finish off anything that gets into range of them. And they do have the extended distance on the range from Dig In, which is a pretty good ability, honestly. You gotta be careful with them, though, because it does wear off if they move. So I'm not 100% sure how it ends up being affected if they're just pivoting. It may be something for CA to look into when they get the 40k game out, because I wouldn't be surprised to see more abilities like this, especially for like the Iron Hands. You know, that's like their whole shtick, is just being absolutely immovable bastards. Hellstriders come out and get on top of the Iron Demons. Gonna be able to kill this one probably, but losing your back point, oh, just barely able to save it. Marauders get up here with the Horsemen. I still don't think there's enough time. I mean, you gotta get all the objectives, and there's just too much in the middle here. A nice breath attack comes down, gets a few of the Marauder Horsemen, and they're just not going to be able to take the objectives away in time. I mean, they're still trying to kill these Iron Demons in the back line here. Navi has been just disgusting this entire tournament with those things. I'm kind of glad I didn't end up playing the Chaos Dally this tournament now. Navi and I have played one game against one another, and it was down to the wire. I barely edged him out. But he has definitely been improving in the shadows for quite a while since then. And that is going to be game. Navi is going to be taking the tournament here, folks. Sorry about the choppiness on the stream. I don't know what the hell's going on with it. Because when I come into the panel here, it says everything is perfectly fine. Probably something on the YouTube backend that I need to look into. But I'll see if I can get that sorted out. Hopefully it wasn't too bad of a viewing experience, though. Yeah, it was over for a little while, but I do have to give Rust credit for continuing to scrap there. You can be surprised how many games you can flip back in your favor just by staying with it and not calling the game early. The big problem was the Aspiring Champions. These guys are 1100 gold, and they barely cleared 300 value. They were fighting there in the middle. I'm kind of surprised that the Blazing Beards of Basharit did as well as they did against these Aspiring Champions. But the Bale Taurus character flying in there and helping them out too, I suppose, didn't hurt anything. Deathshrieker wasn't all that great, but it did deter Sartorial from getting into combat for quite a while. Train, one barely got its value back, and that was after 2 summons, but the other one was an absolute nightmare. 2600 on this train. More than worth summoning it in twice. While the Hashid Stark Ravagers, 2400 value on them. Granite Guard didn't get a lot of value, but they were hanging in there at the end, providing some cap weight. And, again, another threat to deter any dives into the backfield. Chowie are just so good at locking people out of the objectives and shutting down any kind of dive attempts with their ranged units and Iron Demons. It's pretty incredible. They're one of the best anti-dive factions in the game, and they don't really even have that good of mobility. It's really just the shooting and the presence of the trains that deters it, because it takes so much to keep these Iron Demons in check. I mean, you saw how much Rusto was committing to trying to shoot them down early. With the Final Transmutations, Plagues of Rust, lots of Horsemen just trying to get in there and take them down early. It's brutal. They're a tough faction to get a handle on. Yeah, the trains the trains are looking pretty dominant. The factions that do well against the Chaos Dowie are usually the ones that have the tools to shut them down. If you struggle against the Chowie trains or just can't kill the Iron Demons, and they're able to run over all your infantry, it's not going to be a very fun matchup. You would think that Dark Elves would be able to kill the trains, but apparently not. Dowie have a winning matchup, Skaven a little bit up on them, Kislev doing okay. Warriors of Chaos, I mean, losing that, but they still did have a little bit of an edge. Lizards with a big lead, Nurgle with a big lead, and Ogre Kingdoms are just dumb. They counter everyone, so not super surprising to see that. Well played to Rusto, though. It was a really admirable effort. I think it was just the Aspiring Champions choice that kind of let him down. Not 100% sure what the thought process was in bringing those guys. But maybe it was just an experiment. And, sometimes you have to throw shit at the wall to try and make it work. Rust is asking about Blood Beasts now and whether they're marked or not. And I'm just advising him on that right now. I personally don't consider them marked beasts. I don't really understand why Bile Trolls were given marks of Nurgle, honestly, because I didn't think they were all that strong. They're a little better than your standard trolls, but they're pretty expensive. Blood Beasts are in a similar category, in my opinion. They're pretty squishy. If you're focusing them, and you try not to engage them on their own terms, which is in melee combat, they're usually pretty easy to manage, especially since they don't have regen, like the Bile Trolls do. I guess Bile Trolls having the regen can make them a little crazy, especially since they do have speed and melee defense debuff. But Blood Beasts are a much more honest unit. I usually try to keep the rules as limited and nebulous as possible, because I want people to ask, and I also want to see people play around with their builds as much as possible within the constraints of whatever rules I do have. Alright, guys. Well, that was a great tournament. It was a little chaotic as we were trying to sort out top 4. But we got it rolling. And I really appreciate everybody who showed up here today. I am going to go eat lunch. I got a friend who I'm taking a class later. And I'll be working, again, still working on that next set of the Khorne roster. All the cavalry and missile pieces. That'll be out later in the week here, once I'm happy and comfortable. Talking that long about units and trying to break everything down, it can get a little bit complicated to try and keep it all sorted. But check it out when it comes out. I think you'll be happy with it. And it'll definitely shine some light on Khorne as a whole. For those of you who might be struggling against Khorne, or just like playing the Blood God in general. So till then, peace out, guys. Y'all take care.